Yeah.
We
All right.
good?
Well, hey,
We're rolling.
this
Okay.
is Dylan Lindsay,
Hello.
and we're going again. Welcome. Thank you for
Not a problem.
popping into our podcast.
This is my first
man.
time going, so
Yeah, this is sick.
I was listening to the one you did with the taxidermist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and how her whole life, like how her whole view on life just changed the more she got into her line of everything. Because she was everything. Wasn't she a vet as well, or?
She's a farrier.
Yeah.
Claire,
Yeah.
she does horses and
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, she was like talking about doing the shoes for like the
Yeah.
llamas and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
different
alpacas.
hooves. Yeah. And you guys kept that going for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, and we knew nothing about anything.
Yeah, but that's,
So it was super fucking interesting, you know?
and like she was winning taxidermist awards,
Yeah.
and then you learn how someone who like has the same views as you, like someone who's like, oh no, like don't hurt animals, and then the story
Yeah.
about the deer and stuff, and then you realize that they kind of take it into a perspective of like don't really change their like minds. They still love animals. They just have a different respect for hunting. Or
Yeah,
fishing
100%.
If
or
anything,
something
it's like
that.
it's a greater deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why she became a hunter and a taxidermist and all this stuff. It's,
yeah.
it's
She
incredible
saw,
stuff.
She saw the art in it, as weird as it sounds, like
Absolutely.
the actual lifestyle behind it, and she got
Yeah.
intrigued with that. And I thought that, like, I seriously sat there for like at least like an hour and a half, just being like, "Whoa, this person's journey,
It's incredible.
something else, right?"
It's fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
super
so
cool having her.
You guys are actually going out there getting some people that like matter. Like,
Yeah.
And one of them is here with us right now.
I thought of this was just a buddy deal, but
Well,
I'm
it
okay
is.
with
No,
that.
It is.
It is and it isn't.
It's
yeah,
a buddy
it's like-
deal. But it's been so long since I've seen you.
Yeah, because you didn't even recognize me when I came
That's
in the
right.
door. You thought like the whole town of Cambridge is littered with wobbly people. And you're like, this can't be the same guy. Right?
Okay. Well, no one listening to this on Spotify or Apple has any reference.
Okay.
But sure.
Yeah. Well, let's start there. Let's
right.
just start there. Like,
So, well, I guess
what's going on?
not
Yeah.
much. Like for me and you, I mean, we've been buddies for a long, long time.
Yep.
I guess for the listeners that are listening on Spotify and whatnot, I was born with cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Which I don't know what kind of cerebral palsy. I know it's a milder version because I like to think of it as a tree, because cerebral palsy can go from tons of ranges, right? It could affect one side of your body. It could affect your upper half. It could affect your lower half, your left side, right side. It could affect your...
What is it? Well,
It's just what it actually is you get loss of oxygen to the brain during your birth in one form or another, whether doctor air or just like whatever happens, and your brain kind of enlarges, and it always has pressure from the skull, right? So it looks like, so my body, when I'm walking around being my sexy palm tree self with all that swag,
See, that's
yeah.
what I noticed
right?
coming.
Yeah, there's a lot, like that's exactly how I would describe me when I'm moving, like a palm tree, a charming palm tree.
Yeah.
Is kind of how like
can
always
see
just, always just kind of going, right? But so my body thinks it's doing
Awesome.
my body thinks it's doing everything right. Like it thinks it's doing everything you guys are doing. There's certain things that are getting misfired throughout the way. What makes it so they think it's doing all, but there's misfires or miscommunication or like a lag in the program. So that's why everything goes the way it goes when I walk. I can see it, but my brain still thinks it's doing everything.
It's fascinating.
It's fucking unlucky is what it is, but
It
it
is, but-
it is what it is. I mean, someone's got to win the lottery, right? So
I guess.
you got to roll with it that way. And honestly, man, at 10 years old, it was honestly 10 years old right after I kind of moved to this area. It was like I was either I gotta realize it, like that it's not gonna be cured tomorrow, or that I could sit in the corner and cry about it, or I could just be like, fuck it, like here I am and like deal with it, kind of thing, and be like, watch what's coming next, kind of thing. And I kind of took that way with it and kind of ran it through everything the rest of my life, kind of thing. Because everything was kind of a battle from starting school to finishing elementary school to going through all those things.
No doubt.
Just because nobody knew how to deal with me. Right? It was really, I was the first person in the London school board with a disability back in the 90s. So
Is that where you're from originally, London?
London, Ontario.
Okay.
I was born there when I was born there when I was 10, and I moved there from there to here when I was like 10. So I've been in this area, in the KWA
Pretty much your
whole life,
your whole life.
and I love it. And then I just grew up with a very open concept about it, because I was always raised around normal kids. My mom fought for that, to make sure I didn't have to go to a special school or anything.
Now,
And
aside from your situation, you sound normal. Everything else is
oh
normal.
yeah, everything sorry, and that's what I was gonna say about the tears of a disability is I think of it like a tree, and
Okay.
luckily I only hit 1 or 2 branches on the way down.
Okay.
You know, on the way up, like I could have fallen from the top, and I could have been completely just like no vocal. Like I've seen a lot of guys talk
wow.
with machines, you
Okay.
know, where you're not able to care about yourself. I have my own apartment. You know, like, and I do my own laundry and
So
like
cerebral
all that
palsy
stuff.
isn't necessarily what you see on the outside.
It's
It's
brain
what's
damage.
happened to the brain.
It's
okay.
brain. It's brain damage. And like I said, I never thought that like, oh, you had to come with the realization that it's not going to get better, and you're just going to have to deal with what you have to deal with. But now Elon Musk is like out there, and he's doing some things. So it's possible. Like they've cured it in rats. They've cured it in rats. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it because you know me as a comedian. Like nobody wants to hear jokes about how you used to be crippled. All right, so I have a very small
No, your
window.
shtick's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I have a very small window where I have to become a way better writer. So, like so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to cash in because throughout all the crazy stuff that happened, yeah, I literally fell into stand-up comedy. I went to school for like some backgrounds in TV and radio, and I followed that through pretty hard. But I was watching a reality TV show where they were judging. There's a variety show or whatever, and all the comedians came on. And my one buddy turned to me and says, "Dylan, you're way funnier than these people." Because I would go to the bar,
Totally.
and because you have to get used to kind of de-escalating situations,
Sure.
or expect it, especially when you're growing up, going to the bar and stuff. People are gonna think you're drunk, or so you have to. It was easy for me to make them aware. By just cracking a little joke about it, like, oh, you'd wobble too if it hit your kneecap, stuff like that, right? Just to get them, he knows what's going on. This guy's pretty funny. He's all there, and the more you educate, the better it gets. And I was doing that with humor. When I was out, and my buddies recognized that. They're like, when you go to the bar, you crack everybody up with your little one-liners and stuff you do. She secretly signed me up for a Yuck Yucks amateur night. This is when I was 28, so she secretly signed me up for a Yuck Yucks amateur
How old are you
night.
now?
29.
Thank you. Just turned 36.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
So I was so she signed me up, and she told me the night before, oh, by the way, you're going to be on the show. And I was like, oh man.
So did you have a set to do?
No, I just started writing down everything.
Oh, trip. Okay.
Oh man. Right
And
on.
like
dude.
as I was writing it down, I was like, okay, this is where they're gonna laugh. This is the punchline to the joke, and I only had to come up with 5 minutes. So I fired down everything I had from like.
It's not easy though.
It's
5 minutes of solid
weird.
stuff.
This is going to be a weird story for you because it kind of is. like,
Okay.
Like for me, it kind of is, and I'll explain that as we get more into it. But so I went to when we had the Yuck Yucks at the Walper.
Yeah, up in Kitchener.
Up in Kitchener there.
Yeah.
They used to have and then the Rum Runners.
Yeah.
So so she brought me there, and I brought.
I saw you there.
Yeah, I brought everything that I wrote at work at the radio station the night before, and I did it, and it was so crazy because every joke that I thought was gonna land, like I was like, oh, this is what I'll say, this is where they're gonna laugh, this is like was fucking nailing. I couldn't you're right, I couldn't believe it in my own head. I was like, it's working. Everything I'm putting on this piece of paper is fucking working. And then when I'm done my spiel, place, and it's the biggest high. I don't care what drug you've ever done in your life, except for maybe crack, because you don't want a house. I don't need to pay bills. I'll just do crack. But it is the biggest high I've ever experienced, and I'll never get it back. That first time where you're just like, oh, they get it. And you're
that's awesome.
I did this. I made this mood happen.
Yeah, man. That's
I
incredible.
lifted everybody's spirits. And then the guy told me, hey, come back for amateur, where they're having a competition the next week. And I was like, dude, I only have 5 minutes worth of jokes. That's it. I was like, he's like, do it again. Just do it again. And I was like, okay. Came back, and I came in second place.
No shit.
So that's when I looked at it, and I was like, well, maybe I should take a gander at this. I was still very
Take it seriously a
not
little
even
bit.
serious. I just
Okay.
maybe this is something I could take up as a hobby, or see where it goes. It's so weird because comedy has always been a crazy thing to us. My dad's a really funny person. we've always got each other. Like, it's always clicked. I grew up on the Three Stooges. That's my baseline of everything comedic is the Three Stooges, because how they were writing, you had to be quick-witted. As much as it's slapstick, a lot of the funny stuff they say
Absolutely.
is fucking well-written stuff, and people forget
Totally,
that.
man, totally.
And then my dad used to always say, do 3 minutes, and then we'll talk about it. And he would say that when I was like 14. He'd be like, one day you do 3 minutes. And we'd always joke about it. Can't do it, you know.
So you've had comedy training your entire life.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You were ready for this, man.
And then when I seen Eddie Murphy Delirious, after we got, my buddy took us out to go see Road Trip. My buddy's dad took us out to go see Road Trip when we were a little young, like too young to watch it. And
I loved that movie,
as
man.
soon as Titties came up, he's like, no, we're going home. But he felt bad about us missing the second movie, so he took us to Jumbo Video, got us some fucking popcorn, you know, and he let us rent a movie each, right?
Yeah.
And I picked up Eddie Murphy Delirious,
Sure.
and I brought it there. I was like, whatever, I love Eddie Murphy, I'll watch it. I had not really watched stand-up comedy before. We put it in, and Eddie Murphy Delirious is way more offensive than Road Trip.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say.
Like 100% way worse. Like,
There's no
not
boobies.
worse. I mean, it's fantastic. If you know anything about comedy, it's one of the best things ever written.
Yeah.
And one of the best things ever performed at the age of 23 that
Totally,
he
man.
was at. But man, there was offensive material. But I look back at my buddy's dad, and he's just fucking busting a gut. Loving every second of it. There is no chance in the world that the next 80 minutes is going to be stopped by my buddy's dad, right? And meanwhile, we can't go look at tits. Like
on a movie for 4 seconds.
Well, yeah, for 4 seconds while Tom Green is connecting with two women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, whoa. So that was another moment that really got me into it. That is like, this is something that's really cool. And then, then everything else just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of kept working at it. And the one thing that I will say about me honing my craft is I always started with that 5 minutes. Like, that's how I was taught to write. Like, do your 5 minutes so you can do it with your eyes closed. Back and forth, up and down. Like, doesn't matter. And I had some bangers in my first 5 minutes, like some really good jokes. So I was like, I just have to make these perfect, and then I'll worry about
and then can just continue building.
The problem is with me now is I'm in a comfort zone where I'm always working off of that. So if you've seen me, you've heard a lot of the same jokes. But if you've seen me enough, you've watched it grow from 5 minutes to 45 minutes. So there's always...
Well, that's like now. Don't
It's like any comedian.
we're also huge comedy fans,
Yeah.
and even at one point, I did a lot of improv, and I did stand up comedy very briefly.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to Bill Burr's podcast all the time, right? I'm sure you do, and you know, I
Yeah.
listen to all these guys' podcasts, but they're always talking about the new hour.
Yeah.
You know, their
It's
new set, their
tough.
new special, and all that. I can imagine getting rid of that old shit and trying new shit.
That's one of the hardest parts about it.
Yeah, it's gotta
And
be scary.
I was just having that conversation because I have a solid album. And here's the other thing: when it's your first album, you've been working at it your entire time that you've been working at it, right? That's why a lot of comedians, their second album isn't as good as their first album because they've worked at their first album for fucking 10, 12 years.
Sure.
Totally,
It makes
dude.
absolute sense.
Yeah.
Before they actually put it on. And then all of a sudden they hit, boom, they blow up, and they're like, we need another one. And so now he has 6 months to turn over new material that's not well worked out. It's not, it's not nearly as crafted and as tested as the fucking hour and a half he has on his first thing, right?
Makes perfect sense.
I was just having this conversation with Courtney Gilmore, who was on Canada's Got Talent. I don't know if you've seen her. She was the triple amputee who was the finalist on Canada's
No.
Got. She was a finalist on Canada's Got Talent, and she's been killing fucking comedy, left, right, and center, just murdering. But we were talking about
What's her name? Sorry.
Courtney Gilmore. I'll get you in contact with her, and she might cost money. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
As far as that's concerned, she
All right,
might
well, we'll
cost
see.
money. We were talking about how important it is to stay fresh. And I was like, I have this out because I was like, I'm ready to do this competition show too. She was trying to get me in the door for it and, and kind of work with me for it to get it done. And I was like, I'm worried about recording my album because I always look at once you do your album, it's burnt. It's done. Like you can't,
Makes sense.
you can't take it back. You could take it on tour You can get away with doing it for like another 6 months, but after that, you better fucking have another thing in the bank ready to go. So I was like, I want 2 albums. I want a good hour and a half before I bang anything out. I'll do reality TV shows or competitions here or there because I can pick and choose out of wherever I want to go to do with it all. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm going on now, especially with all my comedy stuff, how it's built since coming back from the pandemic. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. Is there something?
This is what it's about.
No, no.
Something you
This
guys
is a
want to say?
conversation that
I just feel like
No. This is. Please keep going. It's so fucking interesting,
no.
dude.
So after running the gauntlet of going around town trying to find shows wherever you could, because when I first, so after the whole amateur competition thing, I lined up with these dudes that were also at the show, and we kind of started going around. I don't know, you know him, Bopper. Big Bob Bopper.
No.
He's from he's from around here.
Okay.
But we used to go around and do like we would find bars and shit and do like a show with the 5 of us and like this is what you get and everything else. But I was teaming up with people when I had no idea what to team up with. And so we ran that for like a year or two, and it was I'll give it this. The dude who was looking for money, like the dude found shows. He found, like, he would find us work for fucking kids that didn't know a lick of what they were doing. He found us work at bars every which way. I was disappointed because people weren't taking it as serious as they should. Because like I was saying, because I watched them try out new material left, right, and center. I'm like, no, fuck, we have a product. Let's go and sell that product and make sure they enjoy that product. And then if we go back there, then we think about, okay, what we need to change for them. You know what I mean? I was like, no, get our product golden. And then, but like I had a lot of fucking for it. No, I don't think I should be doing the same 15 minutes every night. Well, it's not for you. That's what people forget the most.
Totally.
The comedy is not for you. You're not going up there for yourself to be funny.
Okay.
You're going up there because someone has paid you fucking money and
they want their audience to laugh.
time, and they want you to try hard. Like, and that's another reason why I have so much hard times putting out new material. Because when I go, especially when I was going to these shows on like the open circuit, I guess you would call it, like just going around, whoever would put on a show, give me fucking money to get on. Like I would watch these shows, and if someone was bombing, like I'd go there with a plan. Okay, I'm gonna do 5 minutes new material. But then someone like someone would bomb or something would happen where I'd be like, I can't now. Like I have to come up here. And I have to
do what works.
I have to do because I had all these things in my pocket. Like I have all these things in my back pocket. Exactly. Do what works because I know I can get it back up here.
Right.
And I always feel like these people came to see. I don't like disappointing people.
Right.
That's everywhere in my life. I don't like disappointing them off the stage, on the stage. I'm a very loyal person. And that comes with how I grew up because I was bullied and picked on and you know, the people would always make snap judgments or this or that, you know, and then the people who get the time to get to know me, they realize, hey, it was fucking actually a decent person, like inside here. And so that's why I know, this is why I know you for so long. And this is why this is why me and Andrew.
Why you're sitting here.
Oh yeah, this is why we're sitting here, or, you know, and like, this is why I have the same friends I've had since I was 8 years old. You know, because those people, that's the one thing I can say.
Loyalty means something.
That's the one thing I could say about cerebral palsy is it actually gave me a filter of people. Because if you don't want to talk to me because the way I walk, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, big time.
You got nothing for me. You know what I mean? And it's not me missing out on shit. And I hate to sound like, oh, I'll go, like it's a big like speak me up, but it's honestly true. It's honestly helped me like determine who's worth my time and who's not. And I cannot take that away from it. I would not, and I think it's had a big way of how I've grown up. I'm proud of the person I've become, and I honestly think if I was born with regular legs, I'd be a fucking asshole.
Okay.
I really do. I think I would have grown up a dick. I would have been really into sports, and you know, I would have peaked in high school. All right, and so that's
never know, man.
That's
never know.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I did peak in high school. No, but like so, no, it's like that's the whole thing about it. And I'm like I said, I'm sorry to jump around. You got whiskey at me, and there's a fucking nice cold beer here. So if you want to get me back on track, yeah, if you want to
take a sip.
No, there's no going off track. There's no. Yeah, you can actually have a sip. A lot of comedians had used their comedy as a defensive, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you've come to terms with that,
Yeah.
and
And now you're just a comedian.
Well, no, here's that's interesting that you said it that way, because that lines up exactly what I was gonna say. I am a comedian. I'm not gonna deny that at all. I'm a handicapped comedian right now. All right, and I will tell you the difference. This is why I was saying to you earlier. It's easy for me because I have to deal with people's perceptions. So that's why it's funny, because I can think, why is this funny to them? Like I go up on stage, I'll be like, hey guys, I had a wicked audition for The Walking Dead. And that's
hilarious.
That's all I have to say. You give the audience the credit, and they do it themselves, right? They bust out laughing. I say, yeah, I walked in and the lady said, makeup tomorrow 6:00. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
And then they all laugh more, and they're like, and then I'm like, I walk out, and they're like, oh, I walk out, and Ian's like, oh, he's committed.
He's committed.
You know what I mean? So. Like, that's why it's easy, because I'm thinking about the perception that I see, or that how people see me, and I'm working off of that. And it's very simple, and it's a very niche thing. I don't have a set where I can go up and not talk about my legs, not talk about my niche.
Interesting.
When I have a set, when I can go up there for 15, 20 minutes and not say shit about my legs, about my disability, and just talk about how life is shit. Or life is great, depending on what your set's about, then that's what will make me a comedian, because now I can do it without my legs, right? And that's how I look at it. Many people might look at it differently, but like I said, with Courtney, same person, like, she can do that. She's triple amputee. It's very easy to make jokes about being a triple amputee,
right?
But to go up there and do 15, 20 minutes about nothing that has to do with the way you look or how you're perceived, that's where the hard work is. I just get to play with what you see. I get to give you a little peek behind the curtain of however I want you to see it.
Well, it's kind of like,
it's fascinating.
Now, forgive me.
It's easy.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like if somebody went up on stage with a Batman suit on and then didn't say anything about being Batman.
Buddy, I
go,
opened
what?
for that guy.
Yeah.
I opened for Subway Batman.
For real?
Yeah,
Is this
for real.
Oh.
The guy that got viral in Toronto.
So just a second, you just chose a Batman costume, and there's an actual guy that does this.
Yeah, I have no idea.
From 2014, I think. He went on the Batman. He went on the subway dressed as Batman, and it was just dissing Spider-Man. Like, there was another guy dressed as Spider-Man, and it went viral because he was just taking digs at him, and he blew up. For a while, and
really?
I ended up opening for that guy. I haven't opened for anyone crazy except for a couple wrestlers. That's like, those are the biggest.
What do you
ones.
mean?
I opened for Jake the Snake Roberts.
Dude, right on.
Is he funny?
He's interesting.
Okay.
And the other guy is Ken Shamrock.
Okay.
The fighter?
The fighter is the other guy.
He's doing stand-up comedy?
He was doing stand-up comedy. His was more like a preaching session. But I'll tell you this about Jake the Snake Roberts, man. Because he was doing his tour with what is it? He had just gone through DDP yoga to save his life because he was a big time drug addict.
Okay.
And there's a wrestler named DDP who has a yoga.
Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page.
And he has a yoga that he does to help people with drug. Like, he'll have you stay at he'll have you stay at his house, and he'll fucking throw you through the ringer to make sure you get off of hard drugs.
I've heard of that.
And that's what he was doing with Jake the Snake, and they made a whole documentary of the rise. So he was out promoting that DVD, and I ended up hopping on the show and opening for him. As far as him being funny, if you're a wrestling fan, it's always a good idea to go see something like that. Because you're gonna get some of the scoops of some of the stories that you grew up loving, and you grew up like idolizing,
wanting to hear,
like when Randy Savage got bit by the snake. I don't know if you guys ever did any of that shit, watch wrestling, but
not really.
There's a big thing in the '90s where Randy Savage got bit by a snake by Jake the Snake, and it's everywhere all the time. But yeah, so he tells you all those stories, or when Andre the Giant shit on him after drinking too much wine the night before. So you hear all that stuff. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
right?
I've never heard that story, but I assumed it.
It's pretty, it's probably happened more than once. So that's probably like the extent of what I've opened for as far as like most famous people. I've opened.
That's a wild thing to do though. Wrestlers, man.
It's a
what
random.
the fuck?
And the first show I ever got paid for was at the Rock Bar in Toronto for an indie wrestling company. I did their intermission. So the first set I ever did was in a wrestling ring. I had to before break. There was a dude that stapled his nuts to his leg. Then I was like, how do
you beat that? Yeah.
That was exactly what I said.
Pick the staples out.
Yeah, right, with your teeth. Like that's exactly what I said.
I didn't want to go there.
Yeah, well, we're here now.
Jesus.
But like that's exactly what I said. Like when I got on stage, I was like, how do I?
Is it weird though when a guy like Ken Shamrock wants to do stand up? I mean, is it?
No, I get it. I get it.
I guess when you're an entertainer, you kind of just dabble in everything.
Everybody wants to do stand-up.
It's at that point. It's not when you're an entertainer. It's when you're broke.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
No
It's like
shit.
how because nobody gave a fuck what he was talking about. Like no one cared. And he was honestly more like this is how I got in shape kind of sermon kind of thing.
Right.
Well, you
which
can't.
kind of threw everybody off because they didn't think they were coming for a Ken Shamrock motivational speech, right?
Well, the thing is too is if you walked out on the stage, I'd rather hear comedy from you than some jack dude that's been in the UFC and done fucking WWF or whatever.
Well,
Unless it's
right,
funny.
right. Well, but when I'm opening for them, that's not the case, right? When I'm opening for Jake the Snake Roberts, there's 250 people in there with his fucking toy ready to get his sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But that must help you with the fan base and all that stuff.
It helps, especially.
Right?
It helps to see how my shit lands on a big room. Like that's what I took from it. Like to begin with, like that's the one thing I can honestly say about my comedy is it's not offensive. Like you either get it. Actually, you know what? I think you just get it. Like you can be it's pretty. Like it's not too edgy. It's edgy, but it's edgy in my view.
Do you think it makes people feel uncomfortable sometimes?
Yeah, there's a couple that will, but that's by design. Okay.
I'm assuming it would.
I will give you an example of how I've had to change it a little bit.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right? So when I first started, I did this joke about how having cerebral palsy, I got to do a lot of charity work, and I got to work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, right? And the joke is, I never got any money from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I just got a banner that goes above my bed, and I say the damn thing doesn't work though, because every morning I wake up handicapped. Right, which is hilarious, but sometimes, you get those both reactions. You get both of those. You're like, Jesus Christ, that's funny, and then you get, oh, poor dude, like he goes to bed wishing, right? And then
I just said, because all you got is a banner.
Well, right? But because of that reaction, I had to be like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad for me for it. So I was like, I had to throw in a tagline where I was like, oh, don't worry. I shouldn't say it doesn't work though, because sometimes I get women into bed, but only after I tell them it's tax deductible. Right?
That's pretty good.
And so it takes you from there, like it's from the to okay, this guy knows what's going on. And so that's an interesting thing of how I've watched, because it's fucking dangerous out there to do comedy. I think this is one of the most. I'm sorry for swearing so much.
Well,
fuck that.
You
Yeah.
swear as much as you fucking want.
Like
Keep going, you cunt.
I honestly think that this is one of the scariest jobs you could do.
Yeah. And explain that.
Just because the way it's shifted.
Don't you think that this is a
think
time for comedy?
I think it's shifting back.
Yeah.
I think it's been over on this side so much that eventually, which is great, but eventually, because you have to be careful what you say about people and how you're offending people.
Oh, you're speaking of political correctness
of more than anything. That's why it's scary, because when you're up there doing your jokes, they're supposed to be taken as jokes.
Right.
They're not supposed to be, unless someone's being complete asshole, fucking off the cuff.
Which has got to be a lot of those.
A lot of people, and I
see them every day.
I blame Louis C.K. for that one, but we'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
But anyway, so it goes. So now we're getting back to the point where it's kind of pushing. We're not all the way back to where it can be neutral, because you still have to be very careful. But if you know your comedy history, there's no more Andrew Dice Clay.
That's correct.
There's no way. Andrew Dice Clay, you'd go to Andrew Dice Clay show and you just get yelled at for fucking 45 minutes to an hour. And he would just try to go there to offend you.
Sure.
He wasn't looking for laughs. He would and that's just what he did. You can't do that anymore. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you. And going back to the Louis C.K. thing, I think Louis C.K. is a great comedian. Whatever your personal opinions are of him, whatever.
Sure.
Right? But I think he's a great comedian because when he does a joke, What was it? The 2012 special. He walks on stage and he's like, abortion. And then he does a whole joke about abortion, but he does both sides of it. Not only like the one side. He's like, okay, it's either this or it's this to you. You can't be mad if you're pro-life. You can't be mad because there's other people that think you're killing a baby. They think you're killing a baby, like, you know. So, and then by the end of the joke, you're like, holy fuck, this is making a lot of sense.
That's what I think about comedy today.
Yeah, this is making a lot of sense to me. But the thing about Louis C.K. is he's thinking about that. He's taking you through that journey so you can see both sides of the story and understand where he's coming from. He's not saying it just to shock you. He's not saying just to get a reaction out of you. He's now going to prove his point, and he's going to be funny while he does it.
Right.
And I can't do the joke verbatim, so go check it out. It's the very opening joke of 2012 if you could find it on
Louis C.K.
Yeah,
on Louis
well,
C.K.
I'm sure I've seen it.
And it's just like by the end of the joke, you're like, whoa, like you can't be mad at the other people protesting, and you can't be mad at the people that are going in because this is what they think, this is what they honestly truly believe, which is totally fine. That's totally fine. That's allowed to happen, and it's the same on the other side. And then in there you see the humor. And that's what makes Louis C.K. so beautiful. But then you come to these shows where you have these amateurs that are like
It's
ready
one-sided.
to go, and they're just talking about being molested by their uncle with no punchline. You're like, what the fuck was that for?
Yikes.
No, dude, that's what you're walking into sometimes. Because
Right.
people are used to being funny with their buddies. With like people like in their basements or hanging out, and that you got to find a different like it goes back to knowing your audience and knowing how to deal with them. You're not making jokes for your buddies. You're making jokes for a random group of people, and those group of people are going to perceive you one way or the other, and you're either going to lose them or you're going to get them. So like it's a very risky thing to go out. Not saying it shouldn't all be done, and like I was saying, going back to the pendulum, coming back to the middle. It's nice, but it's still really dangerous because you can say something and not mean a lick of it, and there goes everything you've worked for out the window because you said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
And somebody cancels you.
I went to a show. Okay, so I did my first Yuck Yucks Rising. It wasn't a Rising Star. It was it was called the Future Show, a showcase for the futures. I guess it was a future show they were calling it. So if I killed this show, I got to go to the Rising Star show for Yuck Yucks.
Okay.
So I'm not going to mention the comic or anything, but he did a joke about his ethnicity, which was Jewish, and then tagged it into his credit line, and then making his credit line being, oh, this is the race I actually am. And you could just be like, oh, that wasn't the right thing to say. And even though everything else about his set was perfectly fine and funny, no one gave a fuck anymore. No one cared. So you're always one word, 2 words away from losing everything. And,
It's interesting.
And it's a very scary thing to do.
So honesty, you sort of touched on, you said if you say one thing that you don't personally sort of think or believe something, isn't it, this is what you just said? Man, did I get something wrong there?
I went off on a tangent, bro. I can't fucking tell you. I don't know how much of this is disorganized or organized, but I'm trying.
Fuck it, man. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm loving
This
it.
is all scripted.
My mind goes left.
Are you not following the script?
Yeah, my mind goes left and right and center.
As it should. As it should.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why you're a comedian, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, now I just don't even have a question because I forget what I was saying.
Well, I think you're talking about honesty. I mean, something that's integral to the actual performer, the comedian. Something that's
Yeah, you said something like if you don't believe, if there's
The
something, if
integrity
you
of
say
the
something you don't
performer.
believe in or whatever, then you could end up fucking up. Oh, what'd you say? Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. We got it on tape. Can't you ask your producer?
yeah. We'll look
Yeah,
at it
true.
later.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta
DM
call
me.
you.
DM me.
So have you ever gone too far for yourself?
No.
Okay.
I can honestly say, and here's the weird thing, like I always feel like I've been decent, but now looking back at where I am now to where I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, obviously I'm better now than I was.
Sure.
Well, of course,
But-
that's experience.
But when I was back then, I still thought like I would be upset with myself if a disappointing show to me wasn't a disappointing show to other people.
Yes, but that's being professional. That you just need to keep progressing.
Right.
And if you feel you're not, and you keep, then you just keep progressing.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to have this chip on my shoulder every time. And I think that comes from a lot from growing up, right? Because I think I was talking about it from the school, but when I went from elementary school to high school, they tell you what classes you're supposed to take or what level you're supposed to take.
Right.
They put me in remedial because they had no idea what they were fucking dealing with. And remedial is it's a lower,
I understand.
lower stress or individual learning plan kind of thing would be the thing you would say with it.
That was their ignorance.
Yeah, right. And honestly, it's not like I was a great kid and not like a great student in elementary school. Just I was just no different. You know what I mean? Like I could do shit. I was just a lazy fucking kid. Right. And so I didn't want to do my homework or whatever. And I think they thought it was just easier. So the first
Easier for them.
yeah, just to be like, this is where he should go. Right. So I went to
Jesus.
the first semester, man, my first 4 courses were I had open gym. Like I had an open gym class. I had an open drama class because I took drama for 4 years. And I had another one that was another open. I forget what one it was. But
Define the term open. What does that
open
mean?
is like it's for like it's there's no academic to it.
I see. Okay.
Like so it's drama is open. Like so everybody take like there's no academic or there's no applied drama, right? It's just drama. Gym is just gym.
Right.
Right. So everyone of any learning ability takes those courses, and that's what they count as toward your credits or whatever, right? So the only class that I had was remedial English. So I went to my first class at remedial English, and there was a class of 7 or 8 people, and I'm watching how they're teaching me on the board, and I know English fucking well. Like I ended up after this, English was my best subject. I high 90s, all English my whole life. Right. So I watched this stuff go down, and I'm like, I am totally like, I understand what's going on. I walked home and I was like, Mom, I think they think I'm like special. Like, I didn't know how else. Like, I was like, they have me, like they this is what they think's going on. So I had to finish that semester on that course and then upgrade it the next semester. So, but I had to fight my way to get out of that in the public school eye, right? And then not only did I do that, I graduated as student council president of the entire school.
Oh, geez.
By the time I finished, I graduated high school at 17. My first week of college, I was 17. I graduated college by the time I was 21, and then I was also doing my degree and teaching at Mohawk College by the time I was 24.
So right now, a lot of us out here are.
That's impressive, brother.
It's not supposed to be impressive.
No, but it is.
But it's just like that's how much they missed it.
For us, look from out here looking back.
Yeah, man.
That's how much
incredible.
they missed it.
That's the ignorance of.
Well, this is what I was going to say is a lot of us right
disgusting.
now are just sick of ignorance in the world, and you must have been seeing it fucking since day one. Jesus.
I'm not a perfect person, bro. Like at all. Like
I've noticed.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, God had his piece in that, Although I will say, people do say, "Hey Dylan, are you ever angry?" And I'm like, "No, because I've seen myself naked, so it levels out, Like I'm like, I get it, man. Like but no, as far as ignorance is concerned, I mean, the best story I could tell about that, man, is like, I think bullies are great. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone getting beat up or to a point where they feel unsafe or anything like that. But obviously, I was gonna get picked on. Obviously, because people fear what they don't understand.
Correct.
You know what I mean? 100%. There's some people that were always there to protect me and never got too far out of hand because there would always be someone to stop it because there was always a better or bigger person in the yard. But I have this one bully all through elementary school, all through high school, even came into my college. My college is when I shut it down because the first thing he said to me, because I'd already been there for a year, is, "What is your crippled ass taking here?" I said, "I will take you across the street and just finish this fucking business right now."
Let's mention his name.
No, I'm not going to
only
do
kidding.
that. I'm not going to do that. And like after that, and I hate to sound all tough guy about it, but I was like, I'm just not going to put up with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's enough is enough.
Well,
but the best here's the best feeling about it, Randy, is I was sitting there. So this was about 3-4 years ago. My comedy is starting to go a little bit like this, and everybody's on the train. All of a sudden, my bully shows up.
At the comedy show?
At the comedy show.
Dang.
He's paying his own money to watch me talk about my dick for 15 minutes. You know, he had to take his kids and get them babysat. He had to find, like, you know, he had to take time out of his day to come give me money.
Yeah, man.
And so to me, that's a fucking win, man.
Wicked.
That is a
Like
win.
that's a W. Like he thinks, oh, he went out, had a good time, but I was like, dude, all I really did was talk about my dick and how like he used to tease me a little bit, and now look at me now, buddy. You're giving me. I learned that from Daddy Daycare. I was like, that's how you.
From the movie?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, that's how you do it. You just get their money, and then it just solves everything. Because I always grew up with a chip on my shoulder.
Sure.
It was always like doctors telling me you're not going to drive. I drove myself here today.
Yes, you did.
You know, like people telling me, you know, you should be in class with special people. Oh, should I now? You know what I mean? Like, let me tell you that. Let me tell you why I don't think that should be a thing. And so I don't know if it's a good thing because I still have it. Like I went to a competition yesterday. I was doing my first showcase for Yuck Yucks. And this is where you do comedy in front of Mark Breslin.
Oh,
the guy who owns it. He sits in the back corner, fucking judges your act. He does everything. Now there's a dude that was there a couple weeks before, was talking shit about that Courtney girl I was talking about. And I don't know if we can use this part, but let me say it this way. Was talking shit about another comedian I knew. Okay. And so what was happening?
Thanks for editing that.
I don't know how, right? I don't know if you're gonna do it or whatever, but at least it's there if you want to. But he was talking shit about this person, and I was like, no, okay, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna kill this guy. Like I'm gonna fucking that's my mission tonight is to go out, not hurt him, but I was like,
right.
I'm gonna make sure that I do better than him. And that was like, I was motivated by that last night. I was like, if there's anything, I don't care if Mark Breslin likes what I do. I was just like, this guy thinks that he's so much better than us. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking kill it. And because he has a disability as well, like we kind of walk the same line and shit. It was like,
he's a bully too.
It was like a South Park episode of fucking comedy, man. It was
yeah.
It was a cripple fight. It was something interesting, right? But he says this stuff, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking murder this, and I brought the fucking house down.
Copy that.
And I was just like, and I was the first one that he picked, like that Mark picked out to be like, hey, I wanna talk to you.
Okay, so this is my question. How did that end up?
Like, killed it. It was such a weird experience because it was me and 16 other people, and usually I'm used to amateur nights because I'm usually pretty good on myself because my stuff is really tested. I have a plan. I have a backup plan. I know which way to steer the crowd. I know I have jokes to go this way. I have jokes to go that way, and I've gotten pretty good at how to read an audience. So whenever I walk into an amateur night, I feel pretty confident. But this show was different because there were people on this list that I've opened for. There were people on this list that are serious, big time. Even the dude I was just talking about, he had an incredible set. He fucking killed it. The other handicap dude, he fucking killed it. Did a great job. And honestly, I wish him all the best in what he did. You know what I mean? But it was a nerve-wracking thing because you had all these people who are really trying to do it. This is what they want to do. This is what they put their time and their effort into, and they're out here to try to beat you for a job. Like that's really what it is.
Totally.
And so I go up there, and not only that, Randy, I drew 16. So there's 16 of us last night. 16, 5 minutes a piece. That's 80 minutes. That's a long show to watch 16 different people do comedy. I drew lucky number 16.
Did you?
Which to some people is like, oh, that's great. You're headlining. That's fantastic. But when you think about it from the other side,
Everybody's
people are
already
like,
tired
okay, let's
and
go.
wanting to go.
you'd rather be in the middle somewhere around 4 or 5. So you don't want to be the first one to be the one to judge the crowd, but you want to kind of have a chance to see where they're going and see what they're reacting to, how to play it all off. And so you're kind of hoping for the middle, but to get 16, you're like, oh shit. I remember thinking, I hope fucking Buddy stay. I hope Mark stays the whole time. Like I remember going, I hope I just didn't drive up here for nothing. Right. But then I went up there, and sure enough, just fucking, I got the critique of going too fast. And that's because I only had 5 minutes. And that was my plan the whole time. I was like, I'm just going to go up there. First time really doing a yucks thing. So I'm like, I'm just going to go through banger. Everything I know that works, I'm going to do to show that this guy, I can do it, and I can do it back and forth. The only critique he had for me was, you go too fast. And I was like, I know, because I didn't have the time to slow down and do my faces or really pace the jokes out. You give me 50. I could do the same thing I did in 5 minutes in 15 minutes, and it's way better, right? Because it's paced out.
Sure, makes sense.
There's more presence to it. They get to savor it a little bit more. But I was just like, no, bang, 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 boom.
Comedy's about timing.
That's it, right? But with 5 minutes, especially when you're trying to impress your boss, you're like, I'm just gonna fucking rapid fire.
So what's happening now?
From what I know, because this just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I got off the stage right after, and I went over to shake Mark's hand. I said, thank you. He's like, actually, I want you to sit down first. And I was like, perfect. We had a conversation. He said, we'll contact you soon. And
sweet.
And we'll go from there.
Good for you. Good luck.
As far as I know, it's going pretty well. And hopefully it continues to. I just missed Canada's Got Talent this year. I was actually getting looked at from casting agencies for season 2. So hopefully that will be in my season. Hopefully I'll be in season 3.
Is that what they do? They go through a casting agency to get on Canada's Got Talent?
I've done a lot of reality TV show casting. I made it through the final casting audition of the first season of Big Brother. I made it to the end of that, and
wow.
then I also made it to one.
That'd have been wild.
Then I made it to one of the other ones for Big Brother, like one of the later seasons where I made it to like actual like where you see the doctor and stuff, right? Like where I was supposed to I was scheduled to be like a maybe person, right? On one of the seasons. So like, sorry, what was your question?
On Big Brother?
Yeah, on Big Brother.
What's Big Brother?
Big Brother's a competition show similar to like Survivor, except
but they just get drunk. They just get drunk and
it's full of d-bags like
oh hell,
Dylan
I could have done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, in a house kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
and they just do competitions and shit.
So I've gone through, because I've auditioned for America's Got Talent twice. I've auditioned for Canada's Got Talent twice. The biggest difference is that having to do it throughout the pandemic,
right?
With everything coming back from the pandemic, everything's done by video. Where I really shine is in person.
Copy.
You know what I mean? It's
and you have to do a 2-minute video.
It's a 2-minute video.
Bullshit.
It's a bullshit thing, and that's why I was impressed with myself the second time around, because I at least got their attention.
I'm the stunt coordinator for Canada's Got Talent.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Where were you, Randy?
I think they have 2 acts that need a stunt coordinator this year. I'll be away with my lovely wife in our motorhome bus.
Were you not there last season?
Second
Yes,
best
I was.
right over here.
So the girl with no arms, you never met her?
No, because she would have been on a night that didn't require stunts, a stunt coordinator. So, but I think Andrew will be doing it this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to do. We both did a movie with Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to see Howie.
Yeah, well,
It's always fun, you know.
how do I twist your arm to
Good
get me in
friend.
front of the fucking TV?
In front of the TV.
Yeah, and how do I get you to get me in front of Howie Mandel?
Oh, that's.
Feel like another one, Dylan?
I'll take one more, man.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I've already written it down.
Okay. Right. Because honestly, man, that's where that reality show that I was talking about was the first season. Because they say this is season 2, but as you know, this is actually the 3rd season. Mm-hmm. Because they had one 9 years ago.
You're right, exactly.
That happened or something like that, and that was when I was like, that's when all this shit started. Like when we were looking and they're like, Dylan, you could win this because it's for Canadians. Like, and I was
while we're on the subject right now, like if someone's watching this or listening to you, who do they contact? What do they do to get?
You can actually, the best way to do it would actually get a hold of me through Instagram. Would honestly be the best way to do it.
What's your handle?
It would be Standup Guy 9009.
Stand-up guy
9009.
Copy that.
I can also contact Going Again Podcast on Instagram
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, as soon as they contact us.
Yeah, or even if you want to reach me directly on Facebook, it's just Dylan Lindsay Comedy. And then I'll definitely reach out to you. I'm working on a website right now. I just recently purchased standupguy.ca. we're filming ourselves to get some content up on there and getting that going to the next spot. I've actually just started doing the layout for the website itself. So that should be up within the next 2 or 3 months. That's standupguy.ca.
Copy that.
Okay.
And then from there, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Instagram is the best way right now.
Copy.
And
Okay.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and
That's
everyone
great.
loves going to Instagram.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, it's
easy.
It's so simple.
Yeah, man.
It really is so simple. Facebook too. I mean, I don't know I don't remember phone numbers anymore.
No,
No,
who
no.
does?
Who the
Right?
fuck
Like
Who
I
does?
I message people through Facebook. Like this whole interview was set up through Facebook.
No, I don't even
like-
remember names. They're like, "Who's coming in?" I said, "Stand-up guy."
Right?
That's all. That's all I remember.
Which is so funny. Because who knows how long he could stand up for?
Yeah.
Right? It's such an intimidating job title, stand-up comedian. It's pretty crazy.
Jesus, man, I never thought about
That's the hardest part of the whole thing is standing up for
Holy
a fucking
fuck.
half hour, bro.
I saw on British Got Talent this young comedian come out in a wheelchair, and the first thing he said was, "Do you know what I can't stand?" No, let me rephrase. You know what? I can't stand.
That's the Harry Potter kid, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's
he would
brilliant.
He would say that he was Harry Potter in a Quidditch accident.
Quidditch accident,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's very cute.
That there's a bunch of people like that's another reason why it's so urgent to get me on this goddamn show, Randy, because people are gonna start doing my jokes. Because you guys,
Oh, true.
there will be one.
do you find that with yourself that you're limited?
Oh no, not
At all?
Not so much limited. And again, this is something that I discuss a lot with my peers. Is the fact that it's like any other joke you're gonna write. Like I guess the best way, if you're a black comedian,
Right.
all right, everybody's gonna have jokes about the same shit.
Sure.
Right, but it's how you get to your punchlines. Even your punchlines might be similar, but that doesn't mean you didn't write that joke. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Or you didn't think about it, or whatever. And that's the same thing I'm running into when you run into people with disabilities. They all encounter it, or vaccines is a perfect example. Right? I don't know a disabled comedian that hasn't been like, "Oh, I got vaccinated. Look at me now." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's an easy way. It's an easy one to get to. But that doesn't mean when I write mine, that doesn't mean someone else who does it a different way, but the same kind of punchline isn't right.
Right.
Like they're both correct, and you can do that. You can write both sides of it. You know what I mean? And you can be okay. You can be okay with being similar as long as you came it on your own. Because writing is the toughest thing. Because I run out of shows sometimes. Like I don't watch very much stand-up comedy. I don't do it anymore. I used to love it.
Why is that? It's because you kind of like you almost find yourself doing what they're doing, or like
I don't want the ideas. Like if I'm thinking about something and I come up with it organically,
Yeah, you want it to be authentic.
I want it to be
you.
authentic. I don't want to think about it because this guy was thinking about it and now I see how he got there. Now let me put my own twist on it.
Right.
I don't like that. You
Oh,
know what
man,
I mean?
totally.
I've been at shows where like, cause I want to do a bunch of shit about camping.
That's
about,
integrity, and it's going to
yeah.
shine.
Well, I've been at shows where, cause like people talk about camping and I want to do a whole bunch of shit for camping cause I'm not built for the outdoors and that's what makes it hilarious. Right? So every time I hear someone talk about camping, I run outside with my ears, like plugging my ears and go for it. I'm like, this is the time I go for a cigarette because I don't want to have any influence of what that might come to, right? Especially if they hit a banger, then all of a sudden they have a joke about falling out of a tree, and then I have a joke about falling out of a tree. I'd just be more impressed about how I got in the tree to fall out of it in the first place. But like, you know what I mean? So, but like, that's one thing I've actually noticed about myself. I love comedians. There's certain guys that I will watch no problem. I watch Eddie Murphy Delirious once a year for myself. I like just to make sure I can still do it backwards and forwards because I can. At the bar, I will do it for you one time. I will not do it here, right? But I can do it backwards and forwards, and I like a lot of John Mulaney. A lot of Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, I saw him.
A lot of Jim Jeffries.
Saw him in Toronto.
Just because it's funny. And Bill Burr was someone that it took me 2 years to come around to Bill Burr.
Really?
Yeah.
He's I mean,
He's an acquired taste.
From Paper Tiger.
He is a favorite, man.
Yeah, from Paper Tiger to now, like my opinion, and I know he doesn't give a fuck, but like my opinion of Bill Burr has changed from like, okay, I see Bill Burr to fuck Bill Burr is fucking Bill Burr's got it going. Like,
man.
he knows exactly
all
what
of his
he's doing.
specials before that, man, were fucking mint.
Yeah. Like
Man.
I'm only judging.
He's a killer.
I'm only watching from Paper Tiger till now.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really following him. I knew him as an actor, but I wasn't really following him as a comedian. And because I always thought he was like really aggressive, and I was like,
He is.
Right?
Bill
He
Burr's an
certainly is.
actor.
Yeah.
he plays himself.
Yeah, he's in Breaking Bad, and he's
in
got that new one
he's in the Heat with
with Linda McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
And Sandra Bullock. He plays one of the brothers.
Okay, so he's in that
in a few.
movie because he's a comedian.
Yeah.
But he was in Breaking Bad.
Okay, I didn't. I've
Not
never
as a
seen Breaking
comedian,
Bad.
but as a
character.
yeah, it's just a
No
character,
kidding,
but
eh?
because he loved the show so much,
Yeah.
he like tried to get on. And
Oh,
There was another one too, like a Star Trek show or some shit.
he did The Mandalorian.
That's it. Yeah.
like, what
He was in Mandalorian as well.
Yeah.
Right, so-
There's no reason for it.
Well,
but,
anyway,
yeah.
he can get some cash to pay for his helicopter.
He's no Denzel,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
But my point is especially like how he attacked the transition of the social culture. Like you kind of look at how he's saying, and one of the most impressive things I've ever seen him say is a woman asked him, "What do you think about women in stand-up comedy?" And he was like, "Who gives a fuck?" He's like, "You do whatever you want. You want to go have a club where it's just you girls allowed in and not let the boys in, fucking go do it." He's like, the best thing you could do, go up there and fucking kill it.
Totally.
That's it.
If you kill it, it doesn't matter if you have a penis or a vagina. Someone's gonna notice eventually.
Yeah, man.
So that's why you just go up there, you do your best, and you fucking kill it.
Liza Sledgingers, you know.
Yeah, so that's someone
Sledging.
someone was trying to tell me that name. They're like Elijah, just a lion. Like, yeah, I get it. But like, and it's weird that like when you're stoned and watching YouTube clips, that when Bill Burr tells a reporter, "Yo, just fucking go out and kill it," and that's all that matters. It's weird that sticks with you. You're like, that's all.
It
That's
is
all I
that
really
matters.
have to do.
There's so much truth in that very simple
just-
statement. People
if I-
look too much into everything.
If I'm better than the headliner, who cares if the headliner got more money? People know that I'm better than, like, that I did better than the headliner.
100%.
You know what I mean? And eventually that will translate. So
Totally.
you let it go from one to the other organically, and sure, it might take some fucking time.
Well, that takes us back to the authenticity of your performance with your jokes, because it's coming from a real place,
Wow.
as opposed to somebody who's making shit up.
And what I can say about that is how much easier it is to write now as opposed to it has been for the last 3 years. Because,
Yeah. It's been a rocky road for the last few years.
Yeah, well, not only that, because like you only write through life. Like you have to experience something
Sure.
that makes it click. Like I got pulled over the other day leaving a show. I was
Please don't tell me they asked you to walk the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, so I honestly got pulled. I'm working this into my material, right? So I got pulled over, and I know it too. This is when I have a bunch of buddies
man.
here. I have a bunch of, like, I had a group of 9 or 10 of us came out. One of my writing partners and best friends came, and she brought her whole family and did all this stuff, right? So we were all sitting outside having a little bit of an extra chat after the show, and I went to go cross the street, and I had a little pizza because the bar always makes me pizza so I can go home. And this is why I got to be careful with drinking and driving. Like, very careful. You should never drink and drive. Like, let's just get that clear right now. But it's something I have to really be mindful of because of how I walk, right? Because it's okay. Like, I understand why people would call the police. Like,
Sure. I get it.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and it's not their fault. It's not their fault, especially if I'm walking out of a bar or
Still,
whatever.
man, that's fucked up.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. And to be honest with you, I should have nothing to fear if I'm not drinking and driving.
True.
Right? Like, so, and then if I am drinking and driving, well, guess what? You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the risk you take. But I'm usually pretty good at it. Like, usually I haven't been bad at it since my 20s. But I'm walking out of the fucking bar, like, with my pizza, and the lid pops open, and I'm crossing the street. And so I'm crossing the street. A police officer's turning onto the street that I'm crossing. He sees the pizza jumping like a cartoon out of the box as I'm taking my steps.
Comedy is timing.
Like it seriously looks like I'm playing a thing of Mario and jumping, right?
Okay.
So the police officer pulls into the parking lot that I have to walk right by. And And
Oh
I
my
look at him.
God.
I look at him looking at me, and my buddies are walking behind me, and I look at him looking at me, and I just look at my buddies. I'm like, I will be home late. Like I'm like I'm gonna get done.
You know.
I was like, I already knew. And I knew the police officer because I knew he was looking at me like, look at this asshole. He's so drunk he parked in a handicap spot. Like I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that went through his mind, right?
Yeah.
So sure enough, I go do one set of I go following my buddy home, and then go down one block, and sure enough, cherries, right? My buddy thinks it's for him, so he pulls over. I pull into an ex-copper, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
And,
Ironic.
ironic.
That's funny.
I'm like, oh, I'll see you guys soon. Like, and so, so again, my buddy takes off and goes home, and it's a different officer. So it's a different officer.
Oh, than the one you saw.
Than the one I saw.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, okay, maybe he radioed it out, which is very
Sure.
positive. So, and I saw it in her face, and she was a fantastic officer. She was very nice. She was very cordial. She was like, there was nothing. She asked me, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, profiling, right?
Love it.
And she's like, what? I was like, I have cerebral palsy, and like, this is what's going on. And like, here's my handicap sticker.
This isn't the first
And I'm like,
time.
this isn't the first time. It will not be the last time. I'm like, this is what's going on. And she's like, where are you coming from? I was like, I'm coming from a bar. I was the opening act for a headliner, and this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, well, have you had anything to drink? And I was honest with her. I said, I had one beer. I like today. I had one beer and one shot. And I was like, that's how I roll. And I was there for 3 hours. And she's like, okay. Well, I'm going to breathalyze you. And I asked her, well, if I told you that I didn't drink, would you have asked me if you want to breathalyze her? She's like, well, you're wobbling and you're walking out of a bar. Like, so, yeah, probably would. And I was like, that's fair. I'm okay. Thank you for answering me. I pass. I kill it, and everyone's embarrassed about it. But it is what it is, and it's just what you got to do,
I imagine that she's embarrassed.
I don't blame her. I do not blame the police officer for thinking the way he thought. I'm not mad at anybody.
Yeah, but now having
Like-
said that, I mean, come on, I've seen you walk. You don't literally look like you're fucking hammered.
No, see, that's
Or you
that's
look
the
like
case.
you're
It
fucked.
all depends, right? Because it all depends. And honestly, because like I was at a funeral. I was at a funeral the other day, and people thought I was having a hard time, but they didn't realize it's because we were standing on a hill for fucking 50
Oh my God.
fucking minutes. Like they so I'm doing this to hold on to the walls or just to make sure. Like I understand I'm very awkward. Like there's
So it's not just walking. There's other things.
There's a lot of things going
Yeah,
on to
yeah.
make sure that like I'm staying on my feet, especially for standing on an
Sure.
incline like this. Like I might see, like you might see me circle, like I'll veer or I'll walk around in a complete circle and be like, "What's he doing?" Well, I'm just going for the ride, brother. Like I'm just making sure like I'm going wherever the center of gravity is taking me to make sure that I'm not kissing the dirt right now.
Right.
And so that changes on texture. I can tell when I change textures of fucking walking like that. It's so weird. I can tell you right now, whatever they use at the Cambridge Center Mall fucking to wax their floor sucks shit.
Really?
Oh, it sticks my foot all day. I hate walking on it because it's just like it's like a lot of non-stick shit or whatever, and I always face that because it's like it's not what I'm used to being on. Gravel is fun, right? Like all that stuff, and it's just stuff that you don't think about on a day to day, but you're like, oh, I can notice that shit with one step, like a blind puppy.
Interesting, man.
It's weird. It's one thing. I also can't walk backwards.
Well, yeah, I kind of noticed that. Obviously, we were sort of trying to tuck back against the wall to take a pic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bit of a struggle.
I found that out because I was 17 years old and I was doing my radio show at Conestoga College, and me and my two best buddies, Luke and Eric, we were sitting there, and I think they were having backwards races, and I tried and I couldn't do more than like 3 steps.
Is it more physical or mental?
I fucking have no idea, bro.
Wow, really?
To this day, I have no idea. But I would go down after 3 or 4 steps, and like we were like, is that a thing? Like, what if you try? Like,
What do you mean you'd go down?
Just
You'd
fucking-
fall?
I
Okay.
eat it every
Okay.
time, just fucking boom, and like just fly backwards, and not only like I would fly backwards. So we were always wondering, like, is that a thing? But yeah, to this day, can't do it. Like, I could take maybe 4 steps and then I'd have to stable, another 4 steps. But I cannot continuously.
Is that a part of your set?
No, that's fucking. Like,
You just try not to get too close to the stage.
Today, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's not a part of my set at all. That's just a real scientific thing that I don't know. I don't know why it happens. I don't share that even with a lot of people. Not a lot of people know that it's.
Well, they
that,
do
You
now.
just shared it with a lot of
It's
people.
not possible. Yeah, I hope I did.
No,
I
that's
hope I
interesting.
did.
No, it's fascinating.
But it is a fucking really interesting, fascinating thing, right?
Well, speaking of fascinating in science and stuff, you mentioned Elon Musk earlier.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, what is that about? Like, is he's doing something?
I don't
Well, he's
know.
got that Neuralink thing, which really could be like
that's
the
what
answer
I'm talking
to
about,
this
right?
stuff. Now, do you know? Is there any more in another region or anything?
I'm not a biochemist or a doctor or anything.
But you don't ask or you don't find out,
I
or
fucking like it's not like I'm not on the hunt for the cure.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Okay.
this isn't the hunt for Red October or nothing.
No, I know.
Like I'm just trying to, like, you know,
Which
but-
also was a really good movie.
yeah, 100%. I think it's Robert Redford, if I'm not mistaken.
The Hunt for Red October?
Yeah.
No. It's Alec Baldwin.
Is it?
Oh, is it?
Okay. Sorry, I failed. Failed miserably as a Blockbuster employee.
Yeah, Robert Redford never shot
Hey,
anybody.
Baldwin's good.
No. Okay.
He's good at what he did.
No, yeah.
Or he's good at what he does. Yeah.
That's
Otherwise,
true. That's true. But sorry, what were we speaking about?
Blockbuster.
oh well, we can talk about Blockbuster.
No, I wanted to.
No, just the science, just the, you had said that, you really don't go searching for it. And I understand that you
Yeah.
have a life to live. You're not going to fucking spend it all.
I'm not worried if they're gonna find a cure in my lifetime.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I do think there will be a time, I think, where your kids or grandkids or whichever way you turn. I think in the next 50 years, it could be we could be living in some real Gattaca shit.
I have no doubt.
100% designer human stuff.
Gattaca.
I do.
I love people who speak in movie.
Yeah, man. Me
Oh,
too.
it's all part of, like I said, it's based because I worked in a movie store from the time I was 14
Yeah.
to 26.
Yeah.
I worked for both Rogers and Blockbuster.
I know you now, man.
So, yeah, you know exactly. You remember now, eh?
So well.
Little blonde hair kid with glasses and shit.
100%. So
Yeah,
well.
yeah, from back in the day. But yeah, so yeah, I don't go chasing other science. Although when stuff pops up, like
You might be there.
Like I said, I noticed that they cured it in rats. So
Yeah,
like,
man.
it's on, like they're trying.
It's really beautiful
They're trying.
stuff.
So I have a question. So to cure it in rats, do they first give rats?
Well, yeah, eventually one will be born. They don't give it to them because it's something they're born with, but eventually over time.
No. So the what? Okay.
Wait, so it's a genetic?
No, just a second.
Okay.
So a rat is born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, it's not hereditary. It's first off, cerebral palsy is not hereditary.
Okay.
So it's not passed down. Like it's honestly a fluke or something that just happens, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's how it happens. That's how they find it. They find a rat, and
With a similar.
like there's rats born with Down syndrome and cerebral palsy and spina bifida.
Oh, this is the first I've heard of this
All
ever
this
in my
shit.
life.
All the shit. All the
Okay.
shit. They're dogs. There's dogs and everything born with that shit. Like they just usually don't sell those ones. Right? But
Fuck.
sorry,
Whoa.
I'm sorry to get dark there, but like,
No.
like,
I'm learning something
that's what
here.
really
Huge.
happens, right? But yeah, they find these things in mice and shit, and then they go and they do their science through them with those ones and figure it out. Fruit flies is another one too, which I don't know how you even discover.
That doesn't
how
even
they-
make sense.
right? That one I have a trouble buying.
It
Like,
doesn't-
how can you tell the difference?
Whatever
of-
they are, I clap them dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how can you tell the difference between a cerebral palsy fruit fly? Like, does he's flying crazy eights or what's going on?
They all do.
Right? Like, what's going on? I don't get it.
They just don't move
But
backwards.
yeah, right? Yeah, they can't fly. They can't fly backwards. That's a good one.
Fuck.
So yeah, no, but yeah, that's what happens. It's because it's just like I said, it's a lottery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you win it or you lose it or you
Yeah.
get it. And like I said, I don't feel bad about it. Like it could have. I think it's great that it molded me into the person that I am.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I hold a lot of credit to it. Sure, there's things that were in my life that sucked and like that weren't perfect, and
Sure,
there's some
man.
stuff I can't really get a hold on still. But like that's just from being 30. So here's what I'll tell you. What freaks me out. Sometimes I'm just like, oh man, I can't. Is it me that's going crazy? But I'm like, no, all women are crazy. It's not just me who can't figure out women. Like everybody can't figure out women. So like that.
So is it all?
Freaks
Is
me
it?
out.
Is it all? Is it
I'm
objective?
older than you,
Yeah.
and I still can't.
Yeah,
So
you know.
don't look forward
you know
to
what I
figuring
mean?
it out.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You're like, oh, am I like? Is it because of my cerebral palsy that I think this way? It's like, no, it's like it's just crazy. Like
Nope.
there's it's that's the thing that happens. Like when I'll be driving and like stuff like that. Like just the little things that's relieving to me. Like, oh, it's not just me. Like that's not a me thing. That's,
Listen, man,
that's
we have
other people thing
we
too,
have
right?
a woman directing and editing this show, and it scares the shit out of me. Absolutely.
I think she's doing a fantastic job. I mean, it only took her how
Absolutely.
many,
Shout
it
out to
only,
Deanna.
it,
Yeah,
only, it
man.
only took her how many times to take a photo?
Sorry, D.
No.
No, it wasn't her fault.
No.
He couldn't back up.
Yeah, true.
I will eat that for not being able to walk backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked about bullying.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in your audience or any fans maybe, or maybe not, who go too far, said something too far?
Oh.
Or are you pretty?
That's an interesting question.
That all depends who you are. Like I understand what you're saying. Like, you're pretty much asking, do I get offended?
Well,
No,
it's
no, no,
no.
No,
Really,
does
no.
anybody in the audience, are they anybody an asshole in the audience?
Yeah, is anybody saying something that really is just like, whoa, man? Because come on, there's obviously, it's not even a line. It's like a lack of self-awareness or like something when somebody might not even be trying to offend you so much as they just said something that everyone went, God, dude, the tastelessness
Like,
is just.
this hecklers like
Yeah, maybe a heckler or just a.
Heckler is not something I really had to deal. Besides someone being too loud, yelling a random word, like Chicky Chew or whatever all the time because it got a hit earlier on in the show.
Right.
or
Chicky
whatever.
Chew?
Yeah, dude, that happened 2 nights ago.
What was that?
So some woman from Vietnam just kept yelling Chicky Chew halfway through.
What does that mean?
What is that? Yeah.
Fuck if I know, man.
Chicky Chew?
We still haven't figured.
Chicky Chew?
We still haven't figured it out like 2 days later.
I don't care because I'm going to work tomorrow and somebody's going to ask me how I'm doing and I'm going to say Chicky Chew.
Right, yeah, and that's
And they're gonna go, okay.
that's how she kept doing it and interrupting everyone's performance, right?
Thinking it's funny.
Yeah, because they want to be part. People forget that hecklers come and they forget they're not part of the show.
Right.
You know, some of them are good. I don't want to take that away from them. Some of them can get away with it and do it well, but that all depends with the rapport that they build with the comedian on stage,
Right.
right? Because at that point it's the comedian's choice whether you stay or go.
But that's also like a social ability or something like that.
right. You
that
have
they-
to, and that's a tough social ability to have.
Totally.
Because
totally.
you have to know when you're taking it too far or when you're taking it away from the audience. It's great to do audience participation, especially with with someone who's heckling or
When it's good, it's
texting
good.
on the phone.
Yeah.
It is super good and it's super hard to do to make an organic moment happen.
Yeah.
And then to have that be able to be a callback for the rest of the show. I remember being at one show and this one dude just found out someone's nickname was Sandbox as a child, and the whole show just coming back, what do you think, Sandbox? And everyone, boom, every time he mentioned Sandbox, explosion.
Yeah, well, it becomes a running joke.
Right, it becomes a running
But
joke.
it's an organic
An
running
organic
joke.
that
And-
everyone was in on.
Yeah, everyone in this place
From the
tonight.
beginning. It's like an inside joke that you built with everybody.
Exactly.
And so everybody
man.
gets it.
And only one guy goes home crying.
Right, exactly.
Sandbox.
Yeah,
Sandbox goes home crying. Exactly, right? And that's the beautiful thing about it. How to turn a heckler, it's hard. I haven't really been heckled because I think they think that's mean.
Okay.
See, now that's interesting.
I honestly do, man. I honestly think that they think that's mean. I do give people a hard time because the one joke I get the worst reaction, but the best because it's my favorite, is I do a joke about, okay, so I have impressions. Like I say, I have impressions that I got to do. All right, so I end the show or I have a part of the show where I do an impression of Rick Hansen. Okay. Which if you Rick Hansen, the man in motion,
the guy in the wheelchair that went across Canada.
he was a man. No, did he? No, I thought
Well, he went somewhere.
he climbed the CN Tower stairs in his wheelchair because he wanted to make a bunch of people late for shit.
What?
That's the Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, right?
What the fuck?
That's what he did. So in his wheelchair with crutches, he climbed up the CN Tower stairs.
Oh my god.
That was his big thing. And
That's incredible,
Yes,
though.
he might have went across.
Did he do that?
Yeah, he might have went across the nation. In his
Yeah, I
wheelchair.
shook his hand on the
Yeah, I
streets
bet
of
you.
Kitchener.
Yeah, that was before my time, probably.
Yeah, man, yeah.
But like, so I have an impression of, and he's bound to a wheelchair. So I have a joke about doing the hurdles at the Olympics as Rick Hansen, which is as fucking perfect as it sounds, right? Fuck, ow, right? Like, that's exactly what it is.
Oh man, can you see that?
That's
coming?
exactly what it is. But before I get into that joke, I tell him, okay, guys, I'm about to do an impression for you. I don't do many impressions, but I'm working on Terry Fox, but I can't get the squeak right. Right.
Oh wow.
Right, yeah, right. And like people are like, oh, because he's a fucking.
He's a nation
He's a
hero.
fucking hero,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I get it. I love Terry Fox too. Hero of mine growing up, 100%.
Yeah.
But they treated horses better. They didn't even make horses run across the country before they shot him. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
I'm going to his show.
Like, come on.
Yeah, man.
Like, I honestly feel that way. And so when they make that face, and don't get me wrong, I think the Terry Fox
Of
run,
course.
like, don't. Like, a lot of this stuff is jokes. Terry Fox
Of
is a
course it
national
is.
hero. I love him.
No one
He's-
should take this out
no
of
one-
context.
That's
no
the
one-
thing is everyone should agree
no
on
one
this.
should, no one should take, and I get it too, but that's why the joke is funny. All right? Because you're taking a small shot that I can take
Yeah.
at someone who inspired me a lot growing up, you know? I can say, oh, I can't get the squeak right. People go, oh, I'm like, fuck you, I'm on the team.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm allowed to do it. He would think it's funny. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure he would think it's funny. Everything else in between, right? And people forget about that stuff. That's where I'm coming from. It's all a place of humor first.
Well, let me ask you this:
that's brilliant, brilliant.
if someone who does not have any physical or visible handicap makes fun of cerebral palsy, is it offensive?
No.
Okay.
There's a way to do it. It's offensive if you just punch down.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Do you know what I mean by punch down?
Yes.
Like,
I've
so-
heard the term about a billion times this year.
So if you know, it's a real term. I mean, if you're going out just to make fun of disability people,
right.
just for the sake of making fun of them,
100%. But you got Dave Chappelle's
Yeah.
getting constantly accused of punching down.
why? Because of all of his
His
crazy
trans
all of his
stuff and all
crazy
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also had a best friend that was transsexual. And
I
he
know,
was-
it
and he
all
was
makes no
telling-
sense
And
to
he
me.
was telling stories from her point of view, or from,
It's fucked.
and that's
me, it's
honestly a topic. Like, honestly, with the trans topic, I really don't give a fuck. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do.
100%.
Totally.
Perfect.
We
like,
agree.
I think he thinks that
penis-
too.
Penis, yeah, exactly. Penis, no penis. I just care about how you treat me, and if you
And people in
and
general.
if I get your pronoun wrong, I apologize. Tell me, and I will fix it.
100%.
Fix it. I will fix it. And there's a great comedian that's killing it right now named Al Val. Was a man, transitioned into a woman, and we love each other dearly, and she's a fantastic person. All right. I still get my pronouns fucked up around him all the time, but he doesn't bite my head off about it. You know, he knows that it's nothing but love, or she knows, sorry.
Yeah, you said
that-
she and he.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
so
go.
look at-
Right.
It's exactly right.
She knows that it's nothing but love. She knows
100%.
I have nothing but the most respect for her. I think she's beautiful. I think she's great for what she's doing, and I think her comedy career is taking off. And I think it has every right to. You know?
Of course it does.
And if I slip off because I say, "Oh, sorry, man," as she's trying to get by me or whatever, she doesn't freak the fuck out. And
That kudos to her for that.
That's it, right?
Because she's an incredibly open and understanding person.
Now on the other side, yes, kudos to her, but at the same time, she's being just perfectly normal and real, and not having a problem with fucking everything that's just surrounding her. Or what? I'm making huge
that's-
generalizations or
she's
assumptions.
authentic.
This
Yeah.
is something I can kind of relate to.
That's
All
what I
right?
figure.
This is something I can, not being transsexual, not at all. You know,
That was my next question.
Yeah.
I identify as who I identify, and I'm okay with that. But what I was saying is so I've been forced to have weird conversations in awkward times. I've been in the washroom taking a piss, and some guy goes, "Hey, what's going on here?"
What?
You know, not like as I walk in because they notice I wobble or whatever. And so here I am peeing. Now I have to explain to this guy that while I'm peeing that I have cerebral palsy.
What?
You know what I mean?
Why?
That's an awkward
Because they want to
conversation.
know. Yeah, it is something that happens, but people
He needs to know that while he's taking a leak.
people want to know because they don't know when the next time
What
they're gonna
the
be close to me.
fuck?
I've had this conversation. Not even lying to you. Dick in hand, fucking pissing against the turret. Like, what's going on? Then you just turn and pee on him a little, and it's all good, right?
Yeah,
Well, let me
man.
tell you what's
Good.
up. But let me tell you this. I think this is my own personal thing. As a person with a disability, I have no problem having that conversation. And I don't mind having it at awkward times. If you walk into that bathroom thinking that I'm mentally challenged or thinking that there's something wrong with me, and it took 3 minutes of my time to explain to you, no, that's not what's going on, and you walk out of that washroom and you think, hey, it's a cool dude.
Copy that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I did
Wow.
my fucking part,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't freak out about it. I didn't freak out when the cop pulled me over.
But do you feel like a spokesperson for this?
Yes and no, but it all comes with the territory.
Yeah, but on one hand, I want to be offended, and on the other hand, you've spent your life doing this, and he's educating, and it's incredible
Yeah.
because there's a lot of ignorant people out there.
That think it's just right to be mad. They think it's just okay. The first step to do is just be pissed off at someone and call them an asshole. And that's not right. If you take fucking 30 seconds.
The only conversation I've ever had with anyone while I'm taking a leak was golfing with my father.
Yeah.
And I looked over and I said, "Thanks a lot, Dad."
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've had weirder ones than that, man. It gets weirder even when they start tapping their foot. I'll tell you.
That's just fuck.
No. But like again, it's something you get used to it. It sucks. It happens. My buddies, it's weirder for my buddies sometimes because it has been happening more often, especially coming out of COVID. And that's been a little strange because coming out of COVID when everyone was so isolated for so
Right.
long, you got used to being by yourself. You got used to fucking just dealing in your own little world, in your own little bubble. And then to go back and then have it all blasted back in your face again and then realizing like that's what's happening. It's like, whoa, like it's kind of like having to, and I think I'm not the only one having, like, no, I wouldn't say a problem, but I don't think I'm the only one experienced the fact that we're getting used to human interaction again. I think a couple people might feel that it's just been a little weird since we've all kind of started going back. But yeah, I went over to the bar the other day. I went here in town and people just don't know. And so I get accused of being drunk or this or that or the other thing. And you can roll your eyes, but I get it. Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I understand what it looks like.
But it doesn't look like that. Like Andrew said it earlier.
Yeah. I get it.
There's
but
nothing about how you walk resembles being drunk.
But if you're in a bar-like scenario and you see me take a dive off the steps.
Yeah, okay. And that's the thing you saw out of the peripherals of your eyes.
Right, or whatever, or you just, even still, you just see this dude doing like this crazy gait while he's walking. Like, if you're in that,
Like an exotic palm tree.
like an exotic palm tree, like you're going to see that, and especially if you're in a scenario where people are getting licked up all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's where your mind. Like I don't blame them for that.
Right, it's the first thought.
where their mind goes. You know what I mean? I had this one guy
Mm-hmm.
the other day tell me like, "Oh, what the fuck's up with this guy?" And then I was like, "Yo, I'm handicapped," and he felt so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he felt like he
man.
had to come and hug me, and I was like, I don't need your hugs or anything. Like, yo, I get it. Like, it's all part of it.
Yo,
I
dude.
know you didn't mean anything by it,
You're fucking amazing.
but I know you didn't.
Yeah, man.
I know you didn't mean anything by it. You know what I mean? I don't need to be your friend because of it. You know, I don't have to. We don't have to go have a beer right now.
Right.
Like, especially when I'm trying to get my car ready to go. Like, we don't have to. Like, you don't have to spend the next 20 minutes apologizing to me for it.
Your kindness is incredible.
Oh, it's
It
just,
is,
it's
man.
part of life, bro. And maybe it's because I grew up in the 90s. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I'm the last generation to kick the can. You know, and like we went out to play hockey growing up, and like that was, I think we were the last ones to do that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna be playing hockey with fucking goggles on.
Goggles on and
Yeah.
shit, bro.
There's I remember this, and my friend Deanna, who's behind the the cameras here. She would know this, but there's a guy who delivers with FedEx, and he will get the dial to our building, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll say, hello. Hello. What the fuck? You're dialing me up. Is there anybody there? You know, and you're waiting for like your package or whatever it might be, only to discover that the person dialed up, said nothing, then took your package to FedEx. You kind of go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you get to FedEx because you got to drive, you know,
Wherever you gotta go.
15, 20 minutes out of your way.
Yeah.
And you go, what the fuck is wrong with you, FedEx, you fucking piece of shit? And then only to find out that the guy's deaf.
Yeah.
Some people have complained. I've heard it because some people have complained that he shouldn't. Well, then he shouldn't be working the fucking job.
Oh no.
And I just go, man, my 20 minutes to get to FedEx was way worth me discovering that it was just a fucking deaf dude who needed a fucking job, and in a world that's hard to get around in the first place, no matter who you are. So fuck that noise. Now I don't just. It's not that I feel bad. It's that I fucking.
Now
I
you
just
know
go
better. Now you know
Yeah. Now
better.
I just know better.
Yeah, now
there.
you-
It's
now
on the
you-
other side.
Now you
I
know
just know better.
right?
Yeah, man.
That's the whole thing. And what I can tell you is this, man, is one thing that was really crazy for me about, because I never grew up with people with disabilities, right? My mom put me in a regular school. Like, she fought for that. Because she took me to a preschool one time because they
Kudos to your mom.
because they asked me,
Yeah, man.
they're like, maybe he'll be more comfortable with kids with challenges, right? And put me into a kind of an individual learning plan situation. And my mom was like, no, he's just a dude who's got shitty motor skills, and you know, and like, he'll be fine with the kids. And it helped. But the thing is that sucked for that was the fact that I didn't really interact with disabled people till I got involved with sledge hockey till I was 14.
Oh wow.
So I got involved.
Interesting.
I got involved in sledge hockey, and it was awkward for me to be around these people. Like, because I had not been in situations like this. My whole life I had been the only one. There's never been a full room of us.
Right.
You know, there's never been like a bunch of us in my life all together. I always joke about I'm scared when I go to these tournaments because I don't like when they pile us all in the same place at the same time.
Right.
Because I've seen this strategy used before, right? So I like that's just a joke, right? But like I'm like I don't like it, but at the same time I like it again. That's just a joke because it's about fucking other shit. But anyway, what I have learned, and I've seen some things at these disability things that will change your mind forever. I remember one time I was 16 years old. I was getting a slice of pizza at this hockey tournament. And, you know, you walk around those places and then it puts your life in perspective. Because you see people trying from every type of life, every type of disability. So I'm waiting in line for this pizza. And this dude in a wheelchair with no arms or no legs because of meningitis. Taking it all. Meningitis, flesh-eating disease.
Yep.
Fucking just took it all. Right? Took it all. He had nubs on his arms, nubs on his legs. But he came flying around the corner in his wheelchair with the biggest smile on his face playing tag. And I said to myself, if that fucker can get up and smile, what the fuck am I fucking pissed off about because I belly dance? You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to be upset. This guy can find a reason to fucking come around the corner fucking flying and laughing. Like, I still have all my legs. I still got my shit. There's another dude I seen, I'll never forget, fucking, they carved his feet into elephant fucking legs because of he was without feet, but he had nubs, so they carved his feet into like elephant trunks, legs. So he sets on like, that's how he gets around.
Right.
It was either that or prosthetics, but at least this, he didn't need prosthetics, and he walks around with fucking elephant feet. I've seen some shit that will fucking blow your fucking mind. So, you know, and it's like, it really puts it all into perspective at the end of the day. You're like, oh, this is really nothing. I get paid to go on stage and talk about my wiener or the fact that
I can't wait to see your show.
I'm actually doing one here on the 20th in October. Right around the corner here.
The 20th of October, I'll be in
at the Evo, I think.
Tennessee.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
over at the Evo?
At the Evo, I think. I think we're going over there. I'll talk to Teague, but we're going over there on the 20th.
Right on,
but
dude.
I'll make sure.
Yeah, please let me know because I want to see it.
I'm trying to get one. I'm trying to get one for the Cambridge Food Bank going.
Like a show?
I want to do. I'm trying to find a venue. I've been trying to get it over at St. Louis, over by fucking.
Yeah. Up on Saginaw.
Yeah,
there.
over on Saginaw. I've been trying to get one there for a long time. Just things haven't really worked out. But I want to do it and do like $15 tickets, $10.
Would have worked a long time ago. If it was the bar before St. Louis.
And you'll have a few people come? Like, there'll be how many come?
Oh yeah, no, I would do. Well, my plan would be put on like an hour 15-minute show, and the reason I've had a Legion reach out for me and do it, but I was like, I want a bar because I want
You want to inspire people to actually fucking go
stay. I want them to stay, like not go, because I can get people to fill up a Legion for an hour, no fucking problem. That's not a problem. If I try to advertise a show, I'll be like, okay, this is what we're doing, this is how I'm doing it. People will come. But I want a bar because I want to do a show, say at 8:00 on a show, and then all of a sudden be finished by 9, and then they could have dinner and hang around and enjoy the atmosphere. That's why I want to do it at a bar. But I want to do something where like we do $15 tickets, $10 with a food donation for the food bank.
Copy.
And do it that way. That way the bar can write it off and help me out with paying the fucking comedians and do it all that way and make it actually solid show for everybody involved, right? Because especially if you can help out, because we do a lot of shows at the Crazy Canuck. You were talking about.
Yeah.
I do a ton of shows for them. Big shout out for Crazy Canuck because they were really big in giving me a hand, especially coming out of the pandemic.
And where is this?
Crazy Canuck is it's a company run by a man named Sandy McFarlane, who's a fantastic individual. Fantastic.
Sandy McFarlane.
He's a fantastic individual who found a way to not only help out the bar, the Crazy Canuck, because he was able to run these shows outdoors because they have a little outdoor venue and keep them healthy throughout the pandemic. That's why they have such a good working relationship with that bar. Sandy treats his comics fantastic.
And where's the Crazy Canuck?
They have one in Waterloo and they have one in Kitchener as well.
Copy.
Yeah, I've been to the one in Kitchener.
Yeah, so the one at the Apollo Theater there.
Yeah.
So that's where we do most of our shows, and thankfully to him, he was really good at getting me back on. He's like, yo, anything you need, you come and you visit me, and because I was like, I got to get shit ready to go. I got to hit the ground running out of pandemic, and I got to make sure this like if we're gonna take a run at it, like this was my time to say it's time to take a serious shit or get off the pot moment. So, and I was like, this is what I'm trying to do, Sandy. And he's like, yo, anytime you need the extra time, anytime you come and I'll find a way to get you on, and he was really instrumental in making sure that I was ready to do what I did yesterday.
Copy that.
To make sure in front of Mark Breslaw to further my life as a comedian, to make sure that I was able to get there. He made sure I could run through the material as much time as I wanted, and made sure I can make it fresh. If I'm going to give shout-outs like that, because I will say the KW region was pretty good at keeping the comedy alive since the Yuck Yucks went down. So the Yuck Yucks went down. There was another guy, another company called Blackball Comedy. And this was the guys that when I first started, they were the guys that were really investing in me. They were giving me as much time as they could. And that's run by a man named Tom O'Donnell, and he did a fantastic job. Then the pandemic hit, and then the venue that we were using fucking went under, and so now he's down to running monthly shows. But again, another great company that came out of nowhere and started supporting local talent and comedian was Blackball Comedy. But going back to Rusty now, without him, I don't know what I'd be. Without that man, I don't think I'd be talking. Without both of those men right now, I don't think I'd be talking to either of you as we speak right now, because they were so instrumental in making sure that I got the time to hammer out my shit.
Well, to be honest, I've never heard of either one of them. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
But you're here because of my son, and
Well,
I remember you, so that's why you're here.
Yeah, I mean, you're here though because you are a comedian. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of friends, whatever. But I fucking obviously was gonna call you.
It's interesting to watch, man, because especially. And that's why I was so pumped for this one, because a podcast is something I was always interested in. I had a good shot.
Yeah, you're a podcast guy.
I had a good shot with my one buddy right before the pandemic, because things were going really good in my radio career. I was getting looked at to.
I was going to mention that, but
I was getting looked at to was getting looked at to get my own time slot finally after putting in so much time in the business. All the stuff, I even had the interview for it, the training schedule planned out, all the stuff to get.
You got a great radio voice.
Yeah, either to get my real. Thank you for smoking, but but it was because I was either going to get I was either going to get the evenings or I was going to get the weekend shifts. That's what we were looking at. But then the pandemic hit 2 days after my interview, and it froze the budgets at my work.
In the area?
Huh?
Was it
Oh
in the
yeah,
area?
I work for Dave Rock's and 91.5 The Beat.
Okay.
For Chorus Entertainment.
Yeah,
And,
cool.
and I still do that to this day, but I work more as a board op now. But at that time, I was getting ready to get into all that stuff, and they have all the equipment to start doing podcasts and stuff. So I had someone lined up to start doing all that stuff with, and all that sweet stuff. But it all just kind of fell by the wayside after the pandemic, right? And I lost so much momentum from my work side because everything had to become so automated over on the radio side of things that we just got back. I just got back to work at the radio station like last month.
Wow.
Like that's how long it's been.
A really good buddy of mine was the morning guy at Chime Radio for...
Which one?
Which guy?
Yeah, which guy?
I'm not going to tell.
Okay.
But a buddy of mine was George Michaels.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I'm not going to tell you his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, we grew up together, and we had so much fun. My buddy Andy and I would be out on the beach up at Sabo, and we'd say, yeah, the DJ's our friend. And the girls would go, really? And then you'd hear George go, and this Beach Boys song's going out to my friends Andy and Randy up there at Sabo on the beach. And the girls would be wickedly impressed. And thank you very much, George, for that.
Buddy, it's
Gobble, 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 and so, you know.
I don't want to say that because I still work in the industry. Right? But, man, I will tell you that radio, it is the only job I know where you get to be 22 forever.
Yeah.
It is one of the coolest things.
Oh, good for you.
They finally, like, monetary wise, the money's there. If you work for it, like, there's money there. If you're interested in being radio, like, there's a lot of competition. You go ahead, you go do it. It takes time, it takes more commitment than anything you will ever fucking do. To make it in radio will take more. That takes the most commitment of everything I've ever seen in my life. All right.
Cool, man.
Because I've been doing it for 13 years and I ain't got shit. Right? But it takes a lot of work to do it. What was I gonna fucking?
Is that because of like a no space?
It's just there's so little jobs, man.
No, that's what he's mean.
Yeah,
there's only so much room.
There's so little jobs. Like everybody, and everything's becoming automated, which is the other thing. So it's a lot easier to get replaced by a lot of things that are coming. Like one person could record for 3 or 4 different stations.
I'm actually always surprised that something like Netflix doesn't have like just some regular, like I know that Netflix is like something, it's the type of entity that actually took us away from cable or radio or whatever. But I thought too, if Netflix also came up with their own 24-hour just constant stream of something
Of radio. Of
some kind of talk.
They
or
probably
whatever.
love you right now over at Netflix because they be struggling.
Or
They'll take any idea at the moment, man.
Shit.
Anything to get it work.
Oh, there's that bladder.
Yeah, there's that bladder, eh? But no, I was gonna try to make it seamless. I knew what was going on. I wasn't gonna say shit.
I've made it seamless until now.
No, but going back to like all the Netflix stuff, and it's so weird, like the industry that we live in, like how immediate everything has to be.
Oh,
it's
buddy.
so fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
It blows my mind because like I was just gonna say, like, do you remember going to the video store and stuff?
Yeah.
Like did
Constantly.
Like did you enjoy it?
I miss it.
Wasn't it?
I actually miss it.
Wasn't that whole thing an experience? That we don't get anymore.
Yeah, there's the value in things has just kind of depleted altogether.
The endorphins of bringing a girl there to be like, oh, we're gonna get this movie, and
dude,
like,
I miss it.
buddy.
Yo, we would rent something
all that stuff
that we've been trying to rent for 3 weeks, and we'd get it home. It would suck, and we'd still watch it 14 times just so that we could bring it back and not have to miss it or whatever.
Well, I know people like you and me were out. B movies are like probably one of your favorite things to watch.
100%.
Like the favorite thing.
100%.
Like there's a movie called The Mad about killer hamburgers.
Okay, I don't know that
with
one.
Billy Zane that fucking blows my mind.
But to me, that is just
Like,
straight brilliance.
Right, it's exactly what you want to hear in a movie, right? And no, but I do miss that experience of all that stuff. But I will say
I do huge, man.
I will say, like, I've always, like, that's the one thing about me picking a job and my parents being so supportive of who I am and allowing me to be whatever. They always let me do what I wanted to do.
So good. Man.
Do
you have siblings?
I have one sibling, who is he's probably 40 now.
Oh shit.
41 maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
He lives out in BC, chops wood. We're estranged.
Oh,
so
way.
no, yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, we're a little estranged. We only talk about once or twice a year. And but yeah, I do have
Soon
one.
he'll be listening to your album.
Oh yeah.
He'll be like, yeah, we talk once a year, but he'll be like, I listen to you every day.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they get albums where he is, but
okay. Where is he, Fort Mac or something?
I know. Yeah.
No, that's
he's up there. I don't know if he's in BC or in Alberta, but he's in one of those two spots right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I grew up with a sibling.
Okay.
Yeah. It was fun for a while. Like
interesting.
He got because when I went through my first surgery, I had 2 surgeries to reset my femurs, so they had to cut and snap my legs and reset them.
Jesus.
And part of the sibling rivalry that we had, like, I don't know if you remember the show Goof Troops.
Yeah, with the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there in a half body cast, bro.
It's a classic.
Half body cast. I live on a board at this point in my life. I had to do it twice. I lived on a board for 3
What does that mean? Lived on a board?
Should we wait till your dad comes back for
Fuck.
this one? I think we should, because this is a fucking deep topic.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We don't have to go there.
I'll go. I'm excited. Like, you're gonna learn a lot.
All right.
And it's a unique experience, right? But it's actually kind of nice for me because I get to remember some good times with my brother as well, right?
Okay, good.
Because there seem to be fewer and fewer apart these days. Wow, I'm getting emotional. You guys did a good job feeding me liquor, right? Better be a fucking Uber involved.
This is the whole point.
Yeah, it better be an Uber.
It wasn't the point, but we're learning now.
No, yeah. This is you got the key. You got the key to it right here, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is why I keep screwing up dates, because I always say the right thing and then I keep drinking and then fucking say too much and boom. Like I throw myself out of the equation real fucking quick.
Big time. No, I get it.
Yeah, we've all been
Look,
there.
actually, before we get to that, then, nah, you know what? I'll ask this later then, because since he's back,
you got it written down?
No, yeah, I've been actually thinking about it the whole time. So
Right. All right, make sure
so
you got it written down.
I got it.
All right.
I got it. Let's do this. Let's talk about your bro.
So I was telling him that I have an estranged brother. Like, we talk maybe twice a year.
Okay.
We're not as close as we should be. He's about 40, but I was telling him because when I was not first diagnosed, but growing up with cerebral palsy, I had opportunities where I had to do surgeries.
Okay.
And I was talking about, like, some of the things my brother used to do to me was. I was talking about, we used to watch a show called Goof Troops, and I was in a half body cast living on a board. Mm-hmm. And when I say living on a board, I mean
Goof Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. That was my childhood at 4:00.
Yeah.
Right.
Same, dude.
So living on a board means so I'm in a half body cast from my hips to my ankles, and I sit and sleep on a physical board.
Okay, like this thing.
Like a piece of wood.
Okay.
Cut like I would say like a sling. And I would have a water whistle, and that's pretty, you know what a water whistle is?
I don't.
So it's maybe it's just a Portuguese thing, but you put some water in it and you blow and it makes it sound like a bird, like a bird chirp. Like,
okay.
Are you Portuguese?
Yeah.
Really? Are you fucking Portuguese?
Yeah, look where we live, bro. I'm actually straight up half Portuguese. My mom's from the islands, like straight up immigrant.
Dude,
we are adults.
I realize where we live. I mean, half my friends are Portuguese.
I think I had no choice. I think that's
Like,
I
you
think,
look more like
I
me.
Think, I think we were just magnetically drawn here. Yeah, my dad's Scottish. Right?
Okay,
So
maybe I'm Scottish.
I always say I'm the most undercover motherfucker you'll ever see.
Yeah,
That's why he wants more whiskey.
Yeah,
'cause he's
right.
from
Oh,
Scotland.
all right. Back to the board.
All right.
Board. Sorry.
So
Water whistle.
yeah, so I have this water whistle. So anytime I need something, I blow in the whistle and someone is there to get me. So I go through these operations at 8 years old. No, 6 years old. 6 years old, they had to go break my femurs, break my legs, because you have cameras here and you can, if you see this online. So when I was born, my feet, because what happened at my birth, I guess we should do the whole thing. So my mother hemorrhaged at 3 months early. So she hemorrhaged at 7 months. Let me do this correctly. Fucking whiskey. So she hemorrhaged at 7 months, which caused a rush to the hospital, and so which caused me to be born prematurely. I was like fucking a pound 8 ounces.
Wow.
Oh my God!
I
Really?
think when I came out, we had no idea that there was any problems with me until I started about a year and a half in. My Portuguese grandmother noticed I don't think there's something right. And then so I had all the things you would have growing up. I had those Forrest Gump braces. I had walkers. And you never seen any of this stuff. So you never
seen Forrest Gump.
Well, no, you never seen it on me. So I had walkers. I had walkers. and a walker is just pretty much a big, you know what a walker is?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a big for kids. I'm talking about the ones for kids. So it's a big steel thing that comes around you, and instead of having everything in front, like you know how an old person's walk,
Oh, it's like all around you.
it's
sort
all
of.
around you on
Okay.
the back side. So it's like your whole open side is open, like the whole front is open, and it's like this big thing that you kind of wear as like a half hula hoop.
Is there a seat behind you?
No, I didn't have one as a
Okay.
seat. I would always go running and then jump on the back and go down hills.
Okay,
Like
cool.
that's what you did.
This could have been an extreme sport.
Really could have been.
Yeah,
It really could have been. That's I have jokes.
Different
I
dreams.
have jokes about that too. don't you fucking
I'm
worry.
sure you
We're
do.
going to the show.
All right, yeah. So I grew up with all these things, and so they had to snap my feet. So my feet were, when I came out, they were on an angle like this because I was so early. So what they had to do when I was 6 was they had to go in and snap them.
Man.
They had to break my femurs, they had to break my legs and reset them. So they went from this so they snapped them and reset them so they were all like this. It didn't change anything with the muscle memory of, like I was saying earlier, like my brain is still sending that message, but it did help because now my feet aren't dragging at this angle.
Right.
Like they're dragging at this angle, so I'm only hitting this toe instead of dragging the whole foot. So I had to go in and I had to get plates put in my legs to set them, and then I had to go through another surgery to get the plates taken out years later, right? So that takes me back to living on the board, right?
Okay.
That's where I'm all going for. So during this time, I'm living on a board for 3 months at a time, because I had to learn to walk 3 times. I never got it right. You know what I mean? I never figured it out. But so I had these people waiting for me. But my brother was actually very, very sweet at this time in my life. I don't know if sweet is the right word.
It's a good word.
Yeah, well, wait till I tell you the rest of the story.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
it changes.
it's very sibling sweet, I guess. So going back to Goof Troop, we're talking about Goof Troop, and it was one of his favorite shows. But I kept yapping throughout his like favorite show, and he kept telling me, shut up, stop, shut up. And I kept yapping. He goes behind the bar we had, comes back with a roll of duct tape my mouth shut. Right, just.
And there's nothing you can do.
No,
It's very
because
sweet.
I'm in a body cast. I'm in a half body cast, so there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, okay, so I lick the fucking duct tape. Haha, get it all off. Gonna keep talking during your show. He goes back, grabs the duct tape again, comes back, puts it over my lips. This time, on the inside of duct tape, he's covered it in Tabasco sauce.
Oh, dang.
so every time I go to lick it, my mouth is on fire. So that's one thing I can say about my brother is that He's really good at being an asshole for a sibling rivalry. Like, so he made some fun times. One time he really did. He stuck me in a tree just because he didn't want to deal with me anymore. He's like, good luck. And then just left me there.
Did he have the right or?
I don't know. Probably.
So do you see your brother now?
No. We haven't talked for a long time. For a long time.
Is there anything about that you can chat about?
Is he here? Or?
Oh, he's on Earth, yeah. I just don't. I know my mom's gonna watch this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
So
like,
no,
okay.
I
there's
mean,
no sense in going.
I
there,
mean,
but-
I don't really care. But
I know, but still.
yeah, right. So that's the only thing. I'm just gonna say he was a good person till he wasn't.
Okay.
If I can say it that way, I don't think he's an asshole. He's my brother, of course. I love him.
Have you been to Portugal?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been there twice. Ponta Delgada.
I went once. I've been once
Yeah.
to Lisbon,
Yep.
and I worked on the ocean. The cliffs, apparently, whatever town this is where they hold the World Surfing Championships, which is incredible. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
These cliffs that go down to the ocean and these huge rock shelves that go out into the ocean. The waves, the ocean itself is incredibly inviting. You have to see it. You just want to jump in. It's so
The
stunning.
waves
No
though
doubt.
can get the size of your house.
Well, see, that's the point. Where we were is the westernmost point of Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is,
That makes- that makes
or
sense.
from it you can see the westernmost point of
Okay.
Europe. But this is where they have the World Championship surfing competitions because of those waves in Portugal, and it's absolutely amazing. Now, admittedly, I saw the inside of a hotel, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
I saw the drive to the ocean,
Yeah.
and I saw the drive back. I didn't get to see a whole lot of it. I did walk downtown Lisbon. I went to the Harley
Yeah,
Davidson
no,
store,
you,
bought a T-shirt.
you did very little tourism.
Yeah.
as
And
you were in
every storefront has those Portuguese tarts,
there. Yeah. Oh,
which
Oh,
I
those
don't.
are fucking unreal.
Well, I don't eat them.
the
They're
food.
fucking unreal.
The food. You guys live close to the bakery too down
Well, he
here.
likes the sausage and stuff.
Oh, chorizo.
Oh,
baby.
the hotel.
My buddy's mom
the
runs
hotel
that
that I
bakery.
had. They had a pasta
Yeah.
with this sausage.
The chorizo sausage.
I was
yeah.
there for 4 days. I
Oh,
ate
yeah.
it 3 times.
Oh yeah, it's my
It's
absolute
great.
favorite.
So
man.
good.
It's my absolute favorite. No, I love it out there. It's crazy that I killed my first goat out there.
Oh well,
thank
that's
God.
that's good.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah, we've all killed
Which
goats,
is-
but
which
not
is-
out there.
which is a which is a weird thing because I did that at 14. And I'm not like again. It's just something that I wasn't used to as a Canadian kid, you know. But we were there for a wedding, and the whole island because we were on
The Azores?
Yeah, we were on the Azores. So San Miguel. We were on San Miguel.
Yeah.
Point to the Gata at a little village called Salga. And we had cousins that were getting married. And the cool thing is you woke up the morning of the wedding and everyone's just getting their animals ready for the food
Yeah.
later on.
Oh, I see.
Whoa.
Everybody brings food to like the wedding, right? So you wake up and that's just the way of life out there.
Sure, of course it is.
People
Yeah.
people forget that. Like it sounds mean here.
No, I get
You know, because my dad had to go in and prep the cow.
Sure.
And he's like the cow was hard because like they got big brown eyes and they're cute and like
Yeah.
goat's a little bit easier because it looks like a fucking devil trying to eat
It's the
you.
greatest of all time.
It's
Yeah,
weird how that
right, and
works.
it's also good job, Brady. But it's also it's like barking at you and it's got horns, so it's a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hilarious.
right? So, but like it's the truth. And then you walk around because me and my cousin, we're 14. He's like 13, and like we're like, no man, we don't want like, but like there's 10-year-olds that are just whipping chickens around. Like it's like whatever, man. We're making dinner.
Yeah.
Get you.
That's the way they live.
just the way of
Get your shit together,
Yeah,
right?
we
Like-
go to Zares. They go to the pen.
They go to the backyard and grab one.
Uh-huh.
Like and it takes a second.
And if we
but-
learned anything from Claire taxidermists.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably more likely that what they're doing is more humane than whatever we're fucking doing.
Oh,
and healthier.
Yeah, healthier, more humane.
because
Yeah,
it's
the
straight.
whole thing.
It's straight from your backyard to your plate.
Yeah.
There's no in between,
Yeah.
right?
And you can always mount the goat in the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned a lot, man. Like, it's cool. Like, it was a cool process to watch, but I don't know if I don't think I could be a hunter. I don't think I could do it.
You know, it's funny. I grew up in Cambridge, of course. I'm a Preston boy, proud. But I grew up with a lot of friends who were Portuguese. And it was when I had my first and only trip to Portugal. I loved it. And the people were incredible.
The roads are shit, but the people are nice.
I didn't notice that, but
Yeah, one of my best friends is from the Azores, born there. You probably know him. His name's Arthur.
Yeah,
You know Arthur?
D'Souza.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Shout out to
Oh,
Arthur.
you know.
Let's go
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
know. Yeah, man. We went to high school together. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he's a great man.
Yeah. He's
great dude.
awesome, man.
But so did half the high school. You know what?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
really.
you don't have to appease me with your Portuguese. You could hate Portuguese people, and I would still like both of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. I look Scottish anyway. We will get away with it in a crowd.
I don't think I like Scottish people.
No, well, at least they're not Irish. No, are you Irish?
No.
All right, because that's usually when I stick my foot in my mouth.
Oh,
Like, when I say something like that, and yeah.
No, I don't think I am. I'm British. British.
I did want to ask that
Yeah.
question, but now it's funny because I had it in my head the whole time and now I'm forgetting.
I
it.
told you to fucking write it down too, man.
Oh, you know what? What it was you often hear things like, and I would be one to say it, is something like, why are we complaining about this when somebody on the other side of the earth has got this and that and is dealing with this and that? Do you feel that your
Disability.
your disability
just-
that it's in that sort of subject matter?
Okay, so I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
used to think that way, like but I had a friend tell me one time, and it was a hard notice because like no matter what you're going through, in life, and this was a thing covered with the pandemic, just because my stuff is my stuff and I have to deal with it, and it might be tougher than someone else's stuff. Think about it like this: you're in a hospital, okay? Someone might be in a full body cast, but your arm is broken. Doesn't mean you're not in pain. Like, doesn't mean you don't deserve to be at the hospital. Like, it doesn't mean you don't have your own shit to deal with. So it's hard to compare.
So is it subjective? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
it,
100. Like, you understand what I'm saying, Randy?
Yeah,
Like,
100 absolutely I do.
it's 100% subjective. Of course, it could always be worse. It could always be worse. You could be missing an eye. You could be burnt to hell. Like, everything. But doesn't mean whatever you're going through doesn't matter. Like, whatever you're going through, I don't care if it's because you broke your finger or you have your.
But too many times I've
mental
gone on
breakdown.
Facebook and I see somebody complaining about their order from McDonald's.
Yeah,
like, come on.
But that's just the minute shit, bro. That's just the stuff.
It is. You're
that's
right.
That's the stuff. That's just someone just doing it to do something.
But it's not where it ends.
Randy knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you're comparing these things on the actual scale that they deserve, because I'm not going to take away from anyone's problems. I'm not going to do that to anybody. I'm not going to say because I can't walk or because I'm not even saying that I can't walk. Just because I walk differently doesn't mean that just because you can walk doesn't mean you're not going through your own problems. Or that because...
Have you ever run into that where you went, fuck, man, I'm dealing with this. What's your problem? And then you got hit with something?
It's tough because it's something like, oh man, this is such a deep conversation.
I know.
It's something that I've dealt with my buddies, right? Because you talk about depression and all that other stuff that goes with it. And sometimes I look at people, I'm like, what the fuck are you guys complaining about? Like, you're right, there is that. But like, that's where I had to take a step back. I was like, just because like my shit is my shit doesn't mean they don't have their own shit.
Theirs is just as real as yours is.
Because of course, like, yeah. Because I was like, yeah. Like, if anybody had a reason to go fucking pull the cord, here it is, right? Like I grew up with it, but that is the furthest thing from my mind. But there's other people who are are closer to that than I am.
Yeah, I've had friends do that.
Right?
And you gotta wonder what
You know what I mean? And it's
through,
like,
yeah.
and it's like, that doesn't mean the shit didn't stink or like it wasn't their fucking shit. Like they had stuff that they were dealing with that like they're going through. And just because my legs don't work and theirs doesn't take away from what they're going through. I don't give a fuck about your fucking getting your order wrong. I'm talking about people with some
No, I get
with
it.
some real
No,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand too. I understand you were just making a broad
I just wanted,
thing to it
I
all,
just really wanted to bring this up.
but you're not wrong to a degree where like there was a point of me thinking like I used to think none of my buddies could handle what I deal with, like but that doesn't mean my buddies aren't going through their own shit. Like I'm maybe I'm the lucky one that was able to get it because I was able to deal with it. Because I'm able to look at it this way. I'm a very empathetic person.
Yeah, I marvel at your
open-mindedness,
your
self-awareness and understanding of human nature and all this other shit.
and to be quite frank, I don't know anybody else that is.
It's
Like-
just honest. You got to take a real look at it.
It's not a lot of people like you, yeah, that's for sure.
It's-
Which is also why I
brilliant.
feel like I can ask these questions.
You can, man. I will tell you. I will tell you anything.
Well,
Especially
see, that's
you.
the point. That's the point.
I have nothing to hide.
But what's interesting is this.
I have things I might not should be saying. Sorry, but like
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you
yeah.
anyway, and you guys can figure all
Like
that
about being
later.
Irish.
Oh yeah, all that stuff.
Well,
yeah.
so far there's nothing I'm editing
But
out.
see,
So.
the thing is,
one or two.
the thing is, I think that, for the lack of a better term, I'm an able-bodied person.
No, that's the correct term, man. I'm not offended by any of that shit.
No, I grant you that.
Yeah.
That said, as you walk through life as an able-bodied person, and you're confronted with standing beside someone who is not, your lack of empathy, I don't know what the word might be, but to discuss
yourself in
with
the
them,
shoes.
I need to discuss with them my feelings, how they're feeling. Does that make sense to you?
A little bit.
No,
bit.
but you're as he asks you a question, and you're not offended by the question, and you answer it honestly.
Yeah.
I think there are too many people out there that don't have the guts to ask the question.
And it's not only that, you're afraid that you're going to offend somebody.
That too.
I think that becomes a big deal because I think a lot of it is sheltered now. A lot of the whole conversation.
Therefore,
People are afraid.
ignorance
People are
grows.
afraid. Yeah, people are afraid to ask the questions
Yeah.
because they don't want to say the wrong thing.
That's my point. Ignorance
And
grows on that.
And you could put that to different topics. You could put that toward disability, your trans, because like your trans conversations that people should be having.
Yes.
They definitely should
Yeah,
be
we
having.
have many friends.
100%. Like if you're not like you got to figure out like where you're gonna stand on all this stuff, and you have to understand. It's all about making sure like you can like I'm a big fan of education because once you start realizing that there's not really a fucking issue there, then we can all move on with our day. And the most important thing, which is something that's not happening now, is being okay with someone who has a different mindset than you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's very.
That
we should
is-
all be adults and
That
move
is
forward.
the hardest thing to deal with right now.
100%.
It
Because
is.
when you have all these like-minded people talking about their own shit to their own stuff and not being challenged on anything, you're not getting anywhere. It's until you can sit there and sit with someone with different political views, not agree with them, not agree with anything they fucking say, but still respect them as a person.
Right.
Just be okay
To
with
the
them.
fact that you still want to have a beer with them
I love that.
and want to have a conversation. Okay, so maybe you don't talk politics. Maybe you stick to baseball.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean? But you respect that person's opinion, whether you agree with it or not, and you fucking move on with your life. There's too much talking on one side. Like there's not enough of getting along. You don't have to get along, but you have to respect each other. You have to be you just have to be thoughtful of everyone because like that's why we're all going to shit.
That's right.
That's why, because like everyone is so mad at each other for nothing. Who cares if you hunt and don't hunt? If you think it's like, you know what I mean?
I love
you
this guy.
you should still be able to go out for a fucking beer together.
Yeah, man.
You should be able to go
Or
do that.
at the very
and
least
not
be in the
crucif-
same room.
Yeah, and not crucify and act civil and respectful.
My own siblings won't phone me.
Yeah.
Because of a difference of opinion.
Yeah, and that's terrible.
Well, yeah.
No, it's true.
No,
and again-
it's
and-
happening right now
But
in my
that's
life.
that's terrible, you know. And like, sure, I'm sure that's fucking deep seated, and there's a bunch of others, whatever, right? But I'm just talking as a generalization. If you have two people on two sides of the fences, they should be able to fucking. I have a bunch of buddies that I don't agree with politically, but you know what we do? We go to the fucking bar, we watch the fucking hockey game.
Yeah, because
And
we
go-
all agree on
and
hockey.
We go fucking A, go Matthews, you know,
Yeah, man.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever that is.
Or whoever you want to do, and
I'm
it's
not a hockey fan.
and it's okay.
Austin Matthews.
And it's okay. It's okay to walk away, and you don't have to feel crucified because you hung out with somebody.
100%.
Like, you know, or it's not that you change your opinion. And that person's got to respect your opinion too, because that's how you move forward as a community, and that's how you move forward as like a whole fucking thing, right? Like, that's how you unite. You gotta respect and understand other people. And I get complimented on this all the time. I'm very empathetic because I've been snap judged. You know, I've had all these things happen to me that I can't control, and I have to deal with it anyway. So the sooner I get over that, like the more we can move forward with whatever we need to do, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Dylan, it made wicked sense, bro.
Right?
Well, speaking of, I should say this.
Wow.
Before we cut this thing on the end, do you want to talk about what you're up to, what you're doing, what the future entails for
Yeah, where are you going to be?
Comedy Dylan?
Honestly, like, everything I had booked up has just finished.
When's Just
right,
for Laughs
right
coming?
now?
Let's do
That's
that.
it. That's the next one, right? That's the next thing. That's
the part of the ladder that you
that's
gotta
the
climb.
part of the ladder.
Now, do you
right?
have to audition for that?
No, I got to get in front of the right people. Like I said, one of the comedians I was talking to, that Courtney lady I was talking about earlier, she was the first female winner of the homegrown Just for Laughs Comedy Festival over in Montreal. So
Ooh-wee.
she's kind of like been like, hey, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. And it's funny that you say that, because Just for Laughs was something I was going to do before Yuck Yucks. I was going to do that before the pandemic, and I was going to go crush that. Right now, the only thing I have steadily on the books is that show on the 20th over at Evo.
Okay.
That's this October, because everything else has just wrapped up. I'm sure I'm going to be at Yuck Yucks in the next 2 weeks. I'm probably going to be on one of their Wednesday night shows for their Rising Star shows.
Where?
That's Yuck Yucks Toronto.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for
Now,
confirmation.
Yuck Yucks, what location is that
That's
in Toronto? Is it
Richmond.
Richmond Street?
Yeah, Richmond Street.
Oh, I know it.
Downtown.
I'm not guaranteeing it or whatever,
No.
but from what I've heard or what's
right
been
next to
going
that
on-
badass sushi spot.
yeah, and there's actually underground parking right next to it, so
Yeah.
it actually works
I
out
know
really
it.
nicely.
And there's a theater up the street.
Yeah,
and there's a keg
right-
around the
right
corner.
there.
And there's a fucking
You know
man. It's
exactly,
a beautiful
right,
spot.
right off the junction, my man.
100 years ago, I was studying acting in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and I went. This young couple was their boyfriend and girlfriend. They were studying with me, and we were having a great time. And we went to this bar, and somebody says, "Oh, there's a Yuck Yucks down the street. It's I think it was like the first one ever.
Yeah.
That's how old I am."
Yeah.
And we said, "Oh, let's go." So we tucked our beers up under our jackets and ran down the street to go down into Yuck Yucks. And we're sitting there with these people, and this person comes over and says, "Oh, by the way, we're not licensed."
Oh, so
Wow.
It's like the
That's-
biggest joke
that
ever.
is
that's how you
100
got
years
busted.
ago.
Hey, did you ever go to a Lulu's?
Lulu's
Lulu's.
in Kitchener?
No, like a Lulu's comedy club. Like
Oh, no, no.
That was from when
Oh.
I was a kid. Like there was a Lulu's before there was a Yuck Yucks.
Oh, is that right?
I guess that's what they were
Oh,
called.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I've only heard ancient stories of it. So
Oh, no.
I just my dad seen Tommy Chong there.
Oh,
I
is that
think.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
I worked on a movie once with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my claim to Tommy.
Have you guys done like a podcast on each other yet?
Not
Like,
yet. Well, we've kind of.
No, we've sort of dabbled, but
because
talking
like
about
it hasn't
because
worked
like
yet.
you guys have had like you've been how many movies have you been involved with?
Oh god.
No idea.
Like you're
Just
like
look IMDb.
over hundreds.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
And yourself, you have to have.
No,
at least
I'm
20,
getting there.
You
Yeah.
have to have at least 20 to 80 credits somewhere.
Yeah,
in there.
somewhere between 20 and 80.
Yeah, right. you see what I did there, right?
Yeah, I like
But
that.
you have a lot of experiences and stories within yourselves
Yeah, we
that you
do.
should be sharing
Yeah, we do.
with everybody here, because
They're trickling out over all the podcasts. It's kind of what's happening.
You should have one focused on you. Bring Dee in here, put her some fucking work.
True.
and get her going.
Yeah.
Because honestly, man, dude, your family has been fantastic. Like my entire life.
Oh, man.
You are honestly one of the best customers I ever had at Blockbuster. I look forward to every time.
For sure.
I walked in. I look forward to.
For sure.
I look forward to.
Don't make me cry.
Every time you came in the door, because we were talking about it when I came in. You I don't know if people know, but your daughter was in Mean Girls, which is gonna have its big day come up in October. Don't they do this big meme thing?
I don't know. I don't know.
They had some
October 5th or whatever, or 3rd, or one of those days. It's a big day where you're.
She just shared some GIF or something
Yeah.
about her attacking.
It's a new GIF that's literally just her.
It's
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's circulating,
Right, and that was before even gifts were even a thing.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember you guys have done so much shit within the industry. I think it
Look
would
at the
just
room.
be interesting. Yeah, I think
Look at the room, man.
I'm just honestly, I just tried not to knock anything over. Randy watched me try to get over to this spot in such fear. I was like, oh, there's so many cords. This is not a handicap accessible studio. Nothing is
Well,
taped.
it kinda is.
Nothing is taped down. Fucking even over here. You have a cocaine pool cue glass thing. That's just a mirror.
It's true. Yeah, we lay that out when we have parties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a mirror. And a bunch of... And I was like, oh, but there's also him on fire.
Yeah.
And I don't want to knock that off the wall because it's nicely framed.
Yeah.
And a bunch of... No, it's a beautiful room. And that's why I'm saying you have to fucking share these stories with the people you got out there, because I would tend to think that you've probably done a lot more than some of your guests sometimes, and I think you should shine a light on that. Because don't you have a son who's killing it as a model as well? Isn't?
Oh no, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, he's my nephew.
He's
He's your nephew?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
Oh, he's your cousin?
Yeah, but
Okay,
he's-
'cause he sneaks in to my feeds and shit, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know if it
yeah.
was a little brother or
Yeah,
or
he's
if
my
it was just a
nephew.
free.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because he's doing his own model thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
everybody does.
You
it.
guys
He's an
are-
actor. Yeah, he's good. Yeah,
you guys
it's
are all
awesome.
into
Randy
it.
Lee, you just spoke
Yeah,
of
your
in
daughter.
the Mean Girls. She's the art director on the Goosebumps movie with the Danny
Fucking-
Aykroyd
And Chevy
and
Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, man.
And Chevy Chase, they got Jack Black on this one too?
No,
No, they left him out.
not
for
that I'm
this one?
aware of. But my baby was the art director.
You must be super proud, Papa.
Wicked proud.
Wicked proud.
Yeah.
Good old Papa Bear over here. Right?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
My
man.
kids do awesome work.
Oh well, they've been awesome people their entire lives, as far as I know. So you've done well.
Thank you.
Well,
You-
thank you
thank
for
you.
your words, man. That's
It's true.
very nice.
Like I said, we've come a long way. You guys have been one of the kindest families, and I could say that. Well, like I was saying earlier, you were. When we met, you were a getaway from when I was peeing on someone's lawn.
Yeah, no doubt.
I had to pee, so I just pissed on someone.
That was my
and,
real dream, was being like a transporter. Just
being
cruising
Jason
people
Statham.
around.
But yeah, no, man. I mean, it's been fantastic to watch you grow as a person and do all your crazy shit. I thought
Thanks, man.
that's why it's so neat to
Ditto,
have you
dude.
here, have me here. That's why it's so neat for you to have me here, because I'm sitting here, I idolize and not idolize.
Well,
but I watch
we
what you
get it.
guys do, and it's just you guys put in the effort and the work, and it pays off.
Man,
And that's the one
yeah,
thing
thank
that
you.
you notice, it pays off.
Well, ditto, man. You're a
appreciate it.
unique individual, but on top of it, you're actually a very, very, very funny fucking dude.
I just try
And
to be
it shows,
Yeah,
man.
I love that.
I just
yeah.
try to be genuine, man. I just
Yeah.
try to be genuine.
Well, hey, before you go,
Move
you
that-
gotta move your shit. Give me your glasses here.
Yeah, 'cause we
What?
don't
Okay,
wanna-
yeah, because you gotta sign this table.
Oh, do
With that
I?
Marker, yeah.
Okay.
Here, you take your beer glass.
I can take that one.
And then just pull that
And
back.
Just pull this
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't have this before
Like
you. We're trying to
countries.
get rid of some audio difficulties.
Okay. All right.
Right. So just anywhere on
You
the
just
table.
give her a
Really.
good old. You give her. A
Yeah,
good
if you
old
want, you can
signing.
make Randy get rid of all of his shit and sign over here if you felt like it.
Oh,
Yeah, don't do that. That's
no,
what I'm
that's
saying.
just a lot more cords to walk over, buddy.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
just
fuck.
like
That's true.
Yeah, it's not. We're not ready for that. That's just an awkward moment
Yeah,
for everyone.
do something.
pick
All
your-
right.
pick your
Do
spot,
I have
man.
to do it now on camera and all that
Yes,
stuff? All right.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
All right,
Unfortunately,
it's a lot of on. It's like a lot of on.
I mean, you
the-
can give it some thought, but then everyone
All
on
right.
Spotify is
So-
wondering what the fuck's going on.
So okay. So I'm trying to figure out how long we've actually known each other.
Oh man.
And because I like honestly, this isn't
Dude.
this isn't a friend. Like you're right. We've done killer things. This isn't just a friend thing. Like we're here because we're good at what we do, and like we're actually
Yeah.
professionals. And,
I love
and,
that.
Yeah, that's why
you
we're
know,
here.
Like that's what got us to this moment. But I want to know how many years this moment has been in the making.
Oh, interesting. Well,
Man,
I would say
like,
15, 16.
yeah, at least.
All right.
yeah. Well,
At least, man.
anyway, hey,
All
listen,
right.
listen. If you're 36,
Yeah.
and you were in high school way before the age of 20,
Yeah.
16 years isn't gonna
Yeah.
cut
I
it.
think
Could be
I
20
think we're
years,
20
buddy.
years. Buddy.
20 years, yeah.
I
easily.
think we're 20 years in the making. Right?
Yeah, I think it's 20.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm going to go with. I appreciate everything, man, and we'll go with that. And I'm so glad. And it's so nice to see you. Your dad hasn't aged a day, which means whoever ends up with you is going to be fantastic. Like, it's going to be
Thanks, homie.
fantastic. So, whichever way you decide to land on that one is going to be fun.
Well, I love that.
Oh, me too, man. I
No,
look
my
forward. I
mom's
look
better
forward.
looking, so-
I look forward to the next random run-in at the Badger. That's for sure.
Well,
20
the
years
next one
in the
doesn't have to be
making.
random.
You know, it never does. It never does have to be random. It's
No.
whatever
Ditto.
happens.
Yeah, totally, man. And there it is. There's the scribble. for
Yeah,
everyone.
that's because it is
Listen.
scribbles. Like that's how you're gonna know my fucking sign. You're like, oh, which one looks like a caveman did it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna fucking be half the table by the time I'm done.
Dude, look at
You
this.
take all the time you need and all the space.
I don't care about the space. I don't care about the time. It's the space I'm concerned.
I love it,
about.
man. Even your pen needs a ramp.
Well, that's a
Oh,
big.
Just kidding.
You can have that one.
yeah, that one I'm taking with me, man.
that's
After
great.
all my bragging about fucking English, I better spell shit right, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
All
awesome.
right, wicked. There you go.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank
I
you
really
so much,
appreciate
dude.
it, man.
Thank you so much for
I
being
really
here, man.
do appreciate it,
No,
man. You could ask Andrew. I was actually scared. I was like, how are we gonna fill fucking 2-3 hours?
Fucking
But
filled 2 and almost.
Nah,
2
I
and
hope
half
it was a
hours.
coherent 2 and 3 hours.
Well, it wasn't, but it was at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to do this again. You were awesome.
I hope we get to ride again.
Oh, we will,
I'm
man.
so happy you came.
Yeah, everything from here on is just going to be forward momentum,
I
and
think
then
so. It's
we'll
fucking
be
crazy,
coming
man.
back at a different, greater time.
And anybody that's listening to this,
Yeah, Evo here in town at Cambridge.
Dylan Lindsay.
Yeah, and what I would say if you are going to go see shows, if you're looking for me, make sure you put on Rusty Nail Comedy on your Instagram, put Black Ball Comedy on your Instagram. I'll pop up in your feeds that way, definitely through their stuff. And as of right now, you can guarantee see me downtown. What this would be downtown Galt.
Cambridge.
Cambridge, yeah, I would say
Downtown Galt, Cambridge.
Downtown Galt, Cambridge at Evo. I'll be
I have
there.
no idea what that
I'll
means.
be there on the 20th.
October 20th,
And
2022.
Yeah, we're rocking a crazy show with
Love it.
with T Great, and we're gonna have a blast. So,
We don't want to
Cool,
date.
man.
We don't want
I've
to
seen
date the
T.
show,
It's
but
good.
look up
Really good.
Dylan Lindsay. We'll
Yeah.
do it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much for everything, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
hope it was everything you guys.
Man, I
It
love
was
that
fucking
you were
awesome,
here.
dude.
I
It's great.
appreciate it. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much.
Cut it, D.